You know what? Actually, we don't know. Well, how do we know when ads are rolling? That's a valid question. Like, do you have a thing in your preview? Does it show you that ads are rolling?
No, because I'm the content creator. It doesn't do that on my own channel when I'm watching it.
You might have to like make a Smurf,
So
and
it's
then you
it's
might
kind
have to
of
view bot. This is gonna sound easy, chat, but trust me, I've seen it done. You might have to view bot your own stream with a
it.
second device and a different Twitch account, just so
Here's
you know when ads are rolling.
here's the thing though. I do know that Twitch forces my channel to do uh ads when I first start. So that's why I usually
Yes,
run my intro for about a minute to 2 minutes, because then those ads are done by the time the
yeah,
content starts, so nobody gets
because
shafted out of the beginning.
it front loads all of your ads for the first hour the
Yeah,
second you go live.
exactly. So
Um,
I do that to make sure
for
that nobody
everybody
gets
that joins.
shafted.
Yeah. The reason why I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is because you didn't know. You can absolutely drop a free subscription to the Sergeant Cobra 98 Twitch channel at any point in time you so choose. And I'm going to walk you through how to do that because let me tell you, there's nothing that ruffles my feathers more than joining my boy's Twitch stream on a Monday evening to watch him get absolutely dicked on and, hard carried straight through to the end. It's a skill issue. I saw it. Steph was right. Um, and then having to watch 32 seconds of ads because I cannot physically get through the subscription menu fast enough. So what you have to do
I
is
couldn't outrun the
find it.
technology.
I'm selling out for my boy because he won't ask you to do it. So by God, I will. If you feel that this is worth your time and the entertainment value is peak, you go down to the bottom of the video player. I think this applies also to mobiles, but you might not be able to do this on mobiles. I don't know. It's been a while. You click the subscribe button, and when the menu pops up, at the bottom of the screen, there will be a little drop down that says use your Prime sub. It is important to note you must have an Amazon Prime account that is tied to your Twitch account, which it does automatically because Amazon owns Twitch. So if you pay for Prime on a monthly basis and you don't order enough stuff to justify it, you can subscribe to one Twitch streamer every month for free as part of your Prime Amazon Prime subscription. And you should drop it here because it's worth it. You get to listen to funny, funny, dumb, dumb, ha ha shit.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because if you recall,
I had offered to make you a video of me explaining poorly all of the changes to the channel now that you're an affiliate, and
uh,
the how to subscribe for free using your Prime sub if you so desire.
if you
I do
remember
remember. Haven't forgotten.
last week I lost a follower before I gained
Mm-hmm.
the few I
Mm-hmm.
did from the Warframe stream last night. That follower, actually, the situation that caused that pertains to what you just said, because he took it upon himself to skip past my invite into the Discord link and private message me directly. Because like, you can do that without being friends in Discord, right? And
Yeah.
he decided to throw up a stink about how he should not have to watch new content creators that are low down on the totem pole just because they want to get a few cents of ad revenue. And I said, I responded back promptly with, tell me you don't know how Twitch works without telling me you don't know how Twitch works. Because, like, obviously he didn't get that we don't have a choice in that. All I can do is mitigate
No.
what time they play, but I cannot turn them off. Because they're going to force the pre rolls and all that shit, anyways. I can't do anything
It
about that.
used to be a moon ago. Twitch changed this 2020, I think 2021. I think it was actually during the pandemic that they changed this because it angered a lot of streamers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it
Well, yeah,
used to
because
be
I
that
remember
you could disable
Queso.
your pre-rolls,
Right.
and then that's when they added the slider because it's never been fixed, but the minutes that you could set was never it's the lowest now it's ever been.
Right.
And Queso has a really notorious clip where somebody in chat was like, too many ads, lol. And he like absolutely crashed out over it because he said, like, I'll even take a screenshot and put it in the Discord server to show you guys it's at the lowest possible amount per
Yeah.
hour that I can.
Well, and I know what he started doing. Like, the reason why I bring him up is because he's a great example of what content creators did to push back against Twitch when they were, like, still full swing of, no, you get no decisions. We roll our ads on your streams. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
When people in the chat would say, oh, there's an ad, Queso would pause the game and wait until the ad was over so that nobody was missing any content.
Yeah.
And it was pissing Twitch off because they were like, no, you are supposed to keep going. The ad will play and they can rejoin the content after. And he's like, no, I'm not going to fuck my viewers over like that because you guys want to be scumbags. So, like,
I don't enjoy the fact, because I do remember hearing about that. They were like trying to tell him, like, they were trying to tell all streamers to keep playing through the ad breaks.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So, like, I watch Peanut.
Yeah.
I use my one free subscription every month.
Fair.
Here.
Yeah,
yeah. Twitch.tv/October98 Twitch channel, where it should go. But I like to watch the Peanut himself as he crashes out on people on the internet. And honestly, it, like, if you haven't, not to spit outside of here because he is live right now, please stay. But, like, if you haven't watched the Peanut stream, it is really fun.
I would say do so, honestly. Yeah. Like, he is what every...
Give it, like, an hour. And if you aren't stuck after an hour, then
you'll know.
But, like,
honestly, though, I think that every content creator that's trying to make a name for themselves but also have fun with it should strive to be everything that Peanut has turned himself into, because he is such a carefree, easygoing guy that just loves to have fun. And as it turns out, he's actually very religious.
Yeah, he
is a God-fearing man.
You might not have anticipated this, but everybody's pretty well aware of the fact that he is, like, firmly in the Republican camp. Like,
yeah, I just learned
that
this.
Boy bleeds blue.
Yeah, I just learned this.
He's from a blue state.
But the one thing I will say,
together with a bunch of clips, they were like, turns out our boy bleeds blue. But one of the final bits of it was him talking about Trump. And, like, he was like, not to get political, but I do not like this president. Like, listen, I'm not gonna say I didn't vote for him. It was kind of a bit. I don't know how far that goes, because lots of people that voted for Trump now are like, eh.
Right.
There's been a bunch of reporters going into, like, heavily Trump favoring states and like interviewing people, like, how do you feel about your president this far into his presidency? And they're like,
I can't believe we made the same mistake twice.
I can't believe I didn't think he was going to do it again. He's just out here doing it again. It's like his whole campaign was that he was going to do it again.
He screwed us. What do you mean? For the first time. There's no way he'd do it a second time, right?
Want to do it again?
But no, I love the thing, like, when people found out that he was severely religious, the thing I really enjoyed about it was nobody thought differently of him. And in fact, a lot of people actually started saying that he's spreading the love of God through laughter. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. I myself personally, I'm an atheist. I could give two shits on the matter.
That's very typical of the church opinion of that act, I would state.
I just don't give a shit either way about religion. But I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, you do something well, and the church is like, he's out here.
Yeah, they took the.
If you do not good, they're like, we've never met this man in our life.
This is the spawn of the Antichrist. The thing, yeah, like they full on took credit for his efforts. I get what you mean by it, and don't get me wrong. Yeah. When I was younger, I tried to get into religion and everything because I was baptized, and I couldn't do it. I made it 3 months going to like the church Sunday school and trying to go to sermons and all that. and I went with friends and family, and just nothing. Never could get into it, and so I realized very quickly that my mindset on it wasn't so much that I don't believe that there isn't a God. I just don't care. You know, like on my list of priorities for my life, I have bigger things to worry about than if there is some entity up in the universe watching me right now, you know? Like if he's real, like if we all come if it comes down to there actually is a rapture one day and, you know, I don't ascend, then I'll know. I'll know he was real. But
definitively, will you? Because because you have no like reference for it. You don't know anybody that you're like, yeah, they're going to heaven. If the rapture comes, they will be saved when the trumpets play.
that should say everything about the people I had as role models in my life, because I don't know anybody who would be.
I can't. Like I don't think for a second that even the people I'm like even my grandparents, I'm like,
No, I can think of one who probably
really
would.
nice, but
I can think of one who probably would, because the man is a gem and should be protected at all costs.
Grandpa Steve.
Grandpa Steve.
Oh, he's absolutely
Grandpa Steve.
not being saved in the rapture. You need to know that right now.
This man just called out his own father for note.
I love my dad, but I also know my dad's life very well. I've lucked out in that. It's something that my dad said to me once. My grandpa came to Saskatoon to visit in the summer. Wanted to come down in summer. I was working on the riverboats before we went to school.
Mm-hmm.
So he came down for a week. He stayed with us, rented a car, and like dad had to work, whatever. The kids were off doing their own thing. And it was just me and grandpa for the most part every day. And so he was like, yeah, let's go hang out. And so over the course of that week, I learned a lot about my grandfather. And I had the idea on Friday night that I would make burgers at home. Mm-hmm. Like we were going to go out, get the stuff for it. We'd all have burgers. And then Gramps and I would buy a case of beer. And we would all drink. Oh, caps lock's on. That's why the light's on. Sorry, there was a second light on my keyboard, and I was concerned. But
giving you an OBD2 code.
Yeah. It blinked 3 times instead of 6, so I think cylinder 3 is misfiring.
Gotta check the spark.
But like he bought a bunch of beer, and I bought a bunch of food, and so we made a bunch of food, started drinking, and my dad hung out with us because it's Friday night, and Grandpa's here until Sunday when he flies home.
Right.
And so we hung out on the deck in July, just shooting the shit, and my grandpa was answering like any question you could ask him.
He was in his flow state.
He was just dishing out the wisdom of his age. You know, why did you guys ever like? What was it about Grandma? Where did you meet? Because like at this point, our grandmother had passed away a year beforehand, which is part of why he came out to visit, because he was, I think, lonely.
Right.
And now he's got CNN keeping him company, so conversations are bearable. Yeah, the dude. That's a long story. I love my grandfather, but he can be hard to talk to sometimes because he's fully invested in the state of the world, and he's, I think, far too old to be as invested as he is. At 74, what's happening in the United States should not be a priority. Should be, I wonder if they're going to up my pension payments this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Am I going to be able to keep living?
Yeah. How much longer am I going to have my daughter and her husband live in my basement in order to continue living in my house that I've owned since the 80s? There's reasons for that too, but it's okay. They've all solved themselves with time. That's a dead grandma. Where was I going with this? But anyways, we're drinking. It's a beautiful summer night. We're all having a good time. It's me, my dad, and my grandfather.
Right.
And we're drinking at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Grandpa's like, all right, I'm going to bed. So he hobbles off to bed. And then dad and I are like, well, we'll have one. And so dad and I are sitting on the front deck or on the back deck, just hanging out, still talking a little bit. And dad goes, you want to know something? I was like, what's that, Dad?
This is always how a good story starts.
He was like, let me tell you something. You have learned more about my father in one evening that I had learned in my whole life because I learned just as much tonight sitting here talking to my dad.
Did
And I
he
was
never like have conversations with him or something?
no, my grandpa was a workaholic, just like my dad.
Oh, okay.
Just like me. So
Mm.
it's a genetic thing. It's we must work or we die. Um, so, but like growing up, dad was a shyster, and my dad moved out the second he could. So, and he only ever really went back when he had to. The reason why my dad has a relationship with his parents beyond like, hey, how's it going? Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, is because he had kids,
Mm.
and so he wanted us to have grandparents. Like my mom also has parents, but he wanted us to know his parents
Right.
as like a good counterpoint.
Right.
Um, so that's why my dad has any kind of relationship with his dad is because of us. So he was like the statement was genuine in that like he'd gone so much of his life having never gotten an opportunity to learn anything about his dad because the opportunity never arose because they were always busy. It's
Right.
passing ships in the night. You know, dad's retired, grandpa's retired, comes to visit the grandkids and Steve. Chris has the idea that we should all have a bunch of food and drink. Grandpa's game because grandpa at this point low key an alcoholic. It got worse before it got better. And so like that arose, and I just kind of looked at my dad. I was like, please don't let that happen to me. Like, and we talk a lot now, but at that
Right.
time we didn't really talk a ton. And then when I moved to Prince Albert, we kind of talked less.
Right.
And when I moved to Prince Albert, I had issues with dad, and he never really asked me about them until I was like, "Hey, can I move back?" Years later, because it came to a head where he was just like, "Why do you want to live with me again? For what reason? Because you possibly want to live here again?" And I was like, "Because I liked living with you guys." And he was like, "That's not the impression I got." And I was like, "I don't know what I did, but that's absolutely the impression I tried to leave." So we had this really long, drawn out discussion about why I moved out originally,
Right.
and part of why I wanted to move back. Like, a large chunk of it was like couldn't afford to live anywhere on my own. Ironically, can't.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need cheap
Hey,
rent, and
Billy.
I miss living. Miss living with my dad. How's it going, Billy? Um, so like moved back in with dear old Pops for 2 years.
Yeah.
Pops and Sean, and three of us had a good run, and then I moved back out. Dad and I are still thieves. And I know that because he calls me to ask him. He calls to ask me to help him all the time now, which never used to happen. Uh,
Oh, I know. I remember the Christmas conversation
yeah,
in front of Indigo. Yep, that was fun watching you almost
yeah,
crash while trying to talk to your dad about a book.
yeah. You missed
Priorities, right?
the converse. You know what's funny? So I can't remember if I was talking to you. I think it was a conversation that my roommate and I were having about birthdays, and we were in the passport office. That's right, because I went and I got my passport application in last week. It's on its way.
Right. Yeah, no, you didn't tell
I
me
got a
this
passport
story
again.
because the impression I got
That's
from that
right.
situation was I'm done at the passport office. That can fuck off and die. I never want to have to do that again.
That absolutely still correct. Services Canada is a joke. It's it's the biggest waste of space and taxpayer dollars I've ever seen in my life. There's no reason why that couldn't all be done remotely through mail service, considering they have to mail you your passport anyways.
Yeah.
And everybody's bitching about how much money Canada Post is losing. Well, let's shut down the Service Canada offices and or like downscale them significantly and just go back to mailing
Yeah.
passport
Instead
applications.
of bitching
That's a
about it,
good
let's find
idea.
a solution.
Yeah. Let's, expand the union and make them work weekends. So Amazon will ship packages through Canada Post. And that's like, $750,000 a year in revenue. I don't know. Listen, those
Li-
are all well above
Listen,
my pay grade.
when the
We're
Union
not talking
Jack
about the problems of the
when the
world.
Union Jack shows up at your front door in like a week's time because of this statement, I don't know you. Okay, we never met. I was never here. I don't want
The
anything to do with that.
The opinions presented by me are mine and mine alone. If I find out you went to my friend's house, intimidated his family over my opinions, I'll put you in the ground.
The union will be on site.
So went to the Service Canada office. Now, my roommate, who's renewed his passport many times and he travels for work, so having a passport's extremely important for his career. He's like, hey, if we're going to go on a Friday, do yourself a favor, take the afternoon off. And I was like, buddy, I've been to the passport office before. It took 25 minutes for them to kick me back out the door because I'd filled it in wrong. They refused to tell me how I filled it in wrong. And then I never got my passport application submitted. So I'm pretty sure this will take 0 time whatsoever. We get to the one in Market Mall at noon, almost on the dot. There is a line of like 30 people outside of the door. And I'm like, oh man, I feel we've made a mistake. And my roommate looked at me and goes, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you didn't listen again.
So flash forward an hour, we're inside the office space now, and we're sat, and him and I are talking about kind of whatever. We're talking about Warframe stuff. Him and I are like still workshopping my Steel Path build a little bit. We're trying to fine tune. Actually, Billy, I think I finally cracked it. And it turns out, you're not going to believe me when I say this, Nidus Prime is a bad weapons platform. Who'd have thunk it? Even with Archon shards, it turns out, because I just finished that Sunday night, because you guys got on late to play. I went to bed.
Yeah, I didn't get home and start my Warframe stream until midnight.
The last thing I finished Sunday night when you guys were playing before I went to bed was my Archon shard segment. So Monday, playing with my roommates, I fully slotted Corvex and I fully slotted Nidus because I have a stockpile of these things. And yeah, it was like, it's like night and day. Because Corvex has something that makes him a good weapons platform, and Nidus has abilities that aren't very good.
I'm sorry, Corvex, they did him so dirty, though. They did not...
Yeah, his cosmetic game sucks.
They did not have to make him look like the walking mausoleum from Elden Ring. Like...
Well, no, that's the point. That kind of is the point of Corvex.
That was the reference?
I don't know that was the reference, but the point of Corvex is that he was built by Albrecht and Trotty, who you'll find out about later. I think you might have found out a little bit from Heart of Deimos, but you learn more about him as the story progresses. And he was designed in order to protect Albrecht's inventions. So he was designed to basically be just an eternally standing pillar, like to protect his creations. So you know what? To be fair, if you actually this is going to sound really weird, but you just watch Corvex like in the arsenal where he's just in his idle animation.
Mm-hmm.
His just base Warframe animation is really cool because his whole body shifts. They're all plates.
Yeah.
So the plates like shift and reform slightly every time.
Right.
Yeah, guy also put a living demon core on the way. Corvex, my boy, all of his abilities do radiation damage. Radiation damage is one of the better status effects.
Yeah.
And his unique trait is that any weapon he's holding gains +3 punch through. Any weapon. So pistols, rifles, doesn't matter.
It turns out
launchers, hilariously, also gain +3 punch through. Phenomenal work.
It turns out Corvex was actually not in reference, but he was designed after an amalgamation of the Elden Ring boss aesthetics with their.
And to Billy's point, he basically is a demon core. I can't remember what the Warframe justification for it is, but I think it's like basically he's a nuclear power plant on wheels.
Fair, which makes sense. Although I just read, based on how he looks, I just read one of the Reddit nicknames that the community is calling him, and I can never unhear it or unsee it ever again. One of the names for Corvex is a walking engine filter.
Yeah, basically.
Dude looks like a dirty ass oil filter.
He looks so goofy, and it actually makes me sad that he's got so little in the way of cosmetics. Like,
yeah, because he's got basically nothing, doesn't he?
Exactly. He's got 2 heads, and he's got his own Sindana, which is custom. It's a backpack. It looks like a jetpack, but it's not.
Yeah, right.
And it will never be used as such. Every Warframe has like a bundle. So if you market and you punch in, I want Wisp, for no reason in particular. If you punch in Wisp, and there's the Wisp frame, and then there'll be the Wisp bundle, and then there'll be like the Wisp proto frame bundle, which is how you get Marie. Because Marie is a skin of Wisp. Right. Wisp floats. That's why Marie floats. You'll meet Marie later. Don't worry about it. Don't buy the proto frame bundles. So you meet the proto frames. As a general rule of thumb, for me, I don't know. Do what you want. You're a seasoned MMO player. Corvex's bundle is his one head that Digital Extremes made, his Sindana, and his arc gun. Because Corvex's like big thing is that his like actual weapon in canon is an arc gun. And so you get that as well. And I haven't used it yet because I have 2 other arc guns. But and I don't have the thing for summoning in an arc weapon into a regular mission. I haven't got that far yet. Just haven't figured out how to do it. But that's all you get. There's no color palette. There's no glyphs. There's no like, here's 2 skin, or like, here's a skin and a helmet. No. So to offset it, they give you weapons because that's his big thing. They're like, yeah, here's the arc gun that Corvex used. If you go back and listen to the lore that they provide you on him as you play through the stuff required to get him, because every Warframe that has a pity currency or is unlocked standing, within the missions you play to unlock them, it will tell you a little bit about those Warframes. The Warframe quest lines are basically just that on steroids. Okay. Where it's like, Enos, which is a blueprint you have to buy, it talks specifically about him. The Last Gambit talks specifically about Nidus. Yeah. And like how they pertain to the story that's being told to you. Like the Nidus storyline is that the Corpus were basically trying to steal children and turn them into Vox Populi. Yeah. And Nidus appeared as an infested demon god and stopped the Corpus. God. And so this village prays to Nidus as a god. And he just exists in the center. He eliminated the threat, and then he went motionless in the center of town. And as you play through the Last Gambit, it gives you the children's drawings, and the last one is him standing in the middle of a bunch of kids. It's fucked. It's disturbing, is what it is.
The Vox Populi in Warframe has been fucking with me because I'm nearing the end of Bioshock Infinite and the Vox Populus. Yep. So having 2 games with similar faction names has really been messing with me a bit. I get it. I'm still enjoying Warframe very much. Given that I'm still playing it, obviously that's a good thing. And I've been jumping on it every other night with Billy and Keeg after you've gone to bed to get through a lot of the side stuff and like grind out money and everything. Yeah. I still Grand Theft Auto will always be your worst nightmare. If you haven't been doing this, get Billy and Keeg to take you on the treasure hunts. We haven't done that, but what they did take me on to try and like do a 1 mission stance to get me a shit ton of money was we did Fuck you.
Probably Titan Survival.
No.
Or you would have run the Index.
Yes, the Index.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you put in a wager, and if you win, you get a double out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indexes get early. The Glass Gambit revolves around the Index.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like the Index, and the Glass Gambit will make you not like it, that's either good or bad. I'm stuck. Like, I've been hard stuck on the last Glass Gambit mission or ever. I just walked away because I had Nidus already, so I didn't need his blueprint.
Right.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I like it. It's fun. The X runs can be enjoyable, especially the ones where you do the arena instead of endurance.
They did.
Yeah,
They did. I pretty much
don't.
just followed them around and picked up coins.
I can believe that pretty wholeheartedly.
I did try and shoot and kill things, but it didn't work.
I run the X with my steel path frame, and I just laugh at them.
Yeah.
Because they can't kill me. And they're not going to kill me. And it doesn't matter how hard they try, I will remain standing. Because, like, I used to just run with Nidus and my, like, steel path weapon loadout. And, yeah, it's... Once you hit a certain loadout point, the Index is very, very easy.
I had this whole spiel, like, ready to go in my head about explaining to you why World of Warcraft was still better, in my opinion. But I came to the realization earlier, like I said, on the Snap message that I sent you.
When you were listening to me ramble about why I didn't like WoW.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Half an hour of voice notes.
And it's okay to be wrong. I'm not going to judge you for that.
I feel like I'm wrong, but I'm right somehow.
When you realize halfway through the conversation you're wrong, and now it's just rage baiting to not give him the satisfaction. The realization, the realization I had was it's not really fair to compare an MMO like Warframe to an MMO like WoW, because they are set up in a way where they will never be similar in any aspect. You know, when you're making similarities about which one is better and which one's not, it's typically done with content that is similar in some way or another. Like, for instance, the Windrose demo we played today versus Skull and Bones, which we can get more into that in a little bit here. But the point is that Skull and Bones shit the bed on launch, and Windrose is just a demo, and it's already beaten the max player limit that Skull and Bones ever had by about 20,000.
Yeah, like the all-time high that Skull and Bones was capable of.
Yeah, exactly.
It was stuff.
Hey. So, you know, I came to that thought process, and I was like, you know, it's not really fair, even as a joke, to try and rage bait you about it, because I know you love Warframe. A big reason, subconsciously, for it is you don't have a lot of time to do things with your day because you're busy.
You can't rage bait me about it, because I'm not mad about it. Like,
no, I mean, I could if I wanted to. I know which buttons to push, but thought process thinking. The point is, though, with Warframe, for you is...
I had that last night.
You don't have a lot of time in your day. You're a very busy guy. You have to specifically set time aside to even do this with me every Wednesday. It's not like it's something where you can just sit down anytime and go, cool, let's do this. You have to plan it out. So Warframe being fast-paced and heavily story-driven over anything else makes it easier for you to engulf yourself in it for a short amount of time and, you know, get some love in for it and then go to bed knowing that you're not going to get to play it for another couple days kind of thing. Whereas for me, I like slower, you know, more drawn-out stuff. World of Warcraft's story is massive. I mean, I think it's fair to say that World of Warcraft's story is still larger than Warframe's story by a massive margin. And that's purely just because...
Warcraft is like 13 years older.
True, but also because of the way they do it. Like, one expansion in World of Warcraft is equivalent to, like, 3 of the expansions in Warframe from what I've seen. Like, I've done Fortuna... Fortuna, Cambion Drift, and Cetus now all in the span of like a total of 2 hours. Whereas 2 hours in a World of Warcraft expansion, as you saw, doesn't even get you halfway through the tutorial.
Yeah, the Warframe quest is meant to progress faster because the Warframe. So this was something we discussed last night actually in the house. The 3 Warframe players that reside here.
Billy's got an ad.
Yeah.
Quick freeze frame.
I dubbed Warframe quest lines as expansions.
Yeah.
And they couldn't wrap their brains around that. I was like,
because
why?
they weren't
And they
super
were like,
long.
Because, well, no. Because in their head, an expansion is something you pay extra for to gain access to. Like,
God damn
like
it.
WoW uses a subscription-based expansion service.
If you
Destiny used a paid expansion system.
So yeah, the one
The
thing I
game is
will
free,
say that's changed,
but you
well,
buy all
not
the content.
not changed about WoW, but they've definitely amped it up, is the subscription-based service now gives you everything up to current if you didn't have it already when you activated your subscription. But anything that comes out after that, you have to pay extra to get. So like when the War Within comes out, or sorry, no, the War Within's already out. But when Midnight comes out, the next section of the War Within expansion, where you can start buying housing and all of that, when Midnight comes out, that is going to cost like another $70 on top of your $21 a month subscription.
Yeah. See,
Hey, Average.
but like games didn't used to do that. Like
Right,
WoW
no.
didn't used to do that.
No, they
You used to be
didn't.
able to buy, if you bought the expansion, it gave you a voucher for like X amount of in-game time, which was
Yeah.
Blizzard's estimation for how long it would take you to fully complete it.
Right.
That was 40 days. Is used to be. You'd remember this. You'd buy like if you bought Wrath of the Lich King, it came with a 40-day game time code.
Time cards, yep.
A time card, plus it came with the actual disc of the expansion that you had to download to your or install to your PC off the disc.
Yep.
And then you could experience the content because
yep.
network patches weren't reliable and internet was very expensive.
I will say
so
I don't miss
internet to use the game.
Yeah, I will say I don't miss that. I do enjoy the optimization of modern day with that stuff.
I prefer that.
Really?
Because it doesn't. I don't know if it's, and this is maybe where my knowledge of the current WoW economy is varying. They're like waning off. But when you buy an expansion, you just gain access to it, correct? It does not come with free game time.
Well, no, because they don't do game time anymore. Your subscription.
Yes, they do.
You
do it with a subscription.
Well, yes, but that doesn't. That doesn't
31 days of game time for $21.
That doesn't hard cap you the way it used to with time cards.
Well, yeah, but the concept is still the same. They've just changed the model.
Right, and actually,
because
if you
time
remember,
cards were also a subscription. If you think about it,
they were, but they were also a pain in the ass to keep track of back in the day, as well as the fact that they were actually quite expensive. Like, if you remember the price of the time cards, it's actually cheaper to pay the monthly subscription now than it was to get time cards.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not here to say that time cards were the better system. I'm here to say that I preferred the time card system because let's go back to the example you've already provided. I tend to be very good at filling my time.
Yes.
99% of the time to my own detriment. So if I know I've got 2 weeks coming up where I've got nothing going on after work and like nothing on my weekends, I can just sit down and play games. Go pick up a 14-day time card. And before I'm like before I'm ready to start playing, I can activate it and I will have a full 14 days worth of 24-hour periods from that second to when it ends. So I've got 2 weeks. And I can continue my daily life, but I have the time cards. And then, you buy an expansion and you don't have the time to sit down and play the expansion right away. It doesn't matter because you got the time card. You just keep that in a safe place. I used to know a guy who would buy a time card once a month and he'd put it in his wallet. And he would leave that time card in his wallet because you could buy time cards digitally through
Right.
Battle.net,
Yeah.
like through Blizzard's website. He would keep it in his wallet. And when he would sit down, if he was out of time, he would go for his credit card and he would check his billfold first to see if he had a time card in there. And he just kept them like a separate card.
Right, which makes sense if you plan it out that way, but how many people actually planned it out? Right, that's the thing.
That's true.
You know,
to be fair, you also didn't have to a certain degree because it stacks. Like it accumulated. It wasn't like I activated a 14-day yesterday, forgot, and activated 14-day today, and I lost a day.
It did, but it goes back to the point of the time cards were expensive, so in order to stack them, that meant you were buying them before the time you had allotted was up, and now you're spending that much more money. Whereas, and at the time, you only got, here's another point, you only got one game, right? Because it was just WoW. There was no Classic or Retail. It was just WoW. So that was all you got. Whereas with the subscription now, you are getting 2 full-length service MMOs that are for that price, that are still cheaper a month than the time cards were. And so that's a 2-for-1 deal. That's 2 birds with 1 stone right there, because you're getting retail, which you don't have to buy the newest content to play some of the features either. That's the nice thing Blizzard has done with some of their newer expansions over the years, is what really gets locked off is a lot of the gear, equipment, and like end game stuff like dungeons, raids, all that shit. But the storyline, they still let you go through it. Even if you don't own it, you just can't do a lot of the fun shit, right? Like Dragonflight, for instance. Before I owned Dragonflight...
Hold on, let me get this straight. Billy asked a good question. I do want to ask you that. Can you store tokens? I don't know how they work. I actually don't know what that refers to, so maybe you could help me on that.
No, because the tokens are given by Blizzard themselves, and all the tokens do now is either let you change your race and class mid-character, or, you know, like, let's say you are playing a warlock who is a member of the Horde, and you're just, for whatever reason, not liking it, but you're level 35 already. That's fairly deep into the character. Most people would start another character. You don't want to because you spent all this time into a character. So Blizzard's like, oh, well, here's this fancy little token that you get per expansion when you buy it. You know, it's like a little bonus incentive. If you want to switch your character and class, you can. And a lot of people will switch their warlock over to, like, an alliance race and change it to a hunter or something, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll still be level 35. They just got to reaccumulate. Like, they got to reposition their gear and stats and stuff. But they also have another token that allows you to max level immediately. Yeah. And then you... Which I think is just dumb in general, because that... Like, if you're purely one of those people who does dungeons and raids and nothing else, that makes sense, because you're going to max level your shit and then run through the dungeons and raids as max level to get your gear with buddies and everything, so that you can get your gear and stats up to your level. It just pretty much allows you to not get capped out in, like what happened with us when I tried to join you in that dungeon instance, because I was above the level cap for you. You were level 15 when you tried to do that dungeon. I'm level 62. So they were not going to let us do the instance, and I did not think about that when I tried to do it. So that's what the problem was. If I would have joined you with my level 24 paladin, we could have done it no problem, because it would have just auto-leveled the enemies on my side of things to my level. But that's the 2 tokens they give out. You cannot store them because they only give them to you in special occasions. And if you haven't used the one that you've got, they basically override it, and it's like, okay, well, you didn't use that one. Here's another one. You've only got one.
I think what you're thinking about, Billy, is time cards.
Yeah, you used to be able to do it in-game with the tokens. You're correct, because that's actually how Michael used to do it when he played. Like Dalton Dillon's dad. But no, they don't do that anymore because they have the monthly subscription.
to finish off what I was going to say, the factoid that you dropped nonchalantly that kind of blew my mind. So with the paid subscription, let's just go back to that. Paid subscription, just to make sure I understand, you get access to the new expansion storyline, but you have to pay $70 to do all of the extra stuff.
Which is why a lot of people don't. Like, I have been subbed, like, there was a year's time where I unsubbed from WoW, and that happened to be when Battle for Azeroth came out. I resubbed after a year and came back and did the Battle for Azeroth shit, but I couldn't do the stuff like all of the class-specific gear and item registries where you can, like, kind of like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you could send assassins out on side missions, and it was a timer on it. You'd come back in a little while, check and see their progress, and get the rewards. There was stuff like that in Battle for Azeroth for a lot of different classes. You couldn't do those if you didn't have the actual expansion pack, but you could do the storyline, because the way Blizzard looks at it is the storyline and content from the pack are two separate things. They're not going to bar you from the storyline, but they will bar you from the content if you don't own the pack. So that's
so wild.
That's what I mean. Well, it is wild as an ideal, but it makes sense for the players because you still get to enjoy the storyline, the long drawn out, because that's in itself, that's still a lot of stuff you get to do. That's still a whole new open map of WoW that you can explore, and you're not going to get blocked off from anything except for those side stuff that mean nothing, really. Because, like, when I first bought Dragonflight, when I first played Dragonflight when it first came out, I was going through the story, but I had no idea about the flight style difference. And then I bought Dragonflight, and I played it with Stephanie last month, and then you last weekend. And those are my first two experiences with the Dragonflight style, because if you didn't own the content pack, they blocked that off to you. You couldn't do the Dragonflight style because they still had the normal flight system. So why would they give you that for free? And they didn't let you do the races and stuff either. So that's all side content, but I could still do the story with Alexstrasza and Rathian and all that.
I liked the dragon combat style, or like flight style. I thought
It
was
is
actually
fun,
really nice.
yeah.
Because it's fast. Like it speeds up the traveling. I've also been reading Billy's thing. I'm not judging Warcraft, by the way. I'm poking holes at what I see in a business model that is very old, right?
And I'm just trying to fill those holes.
Is the oldest.
It is, yeah. It is the benchmark that a lot of companies use.
Out here trying to fill some holes. Am I right?
It's just a matter if you got the right tool for the job.
Ladies.
Jesus Christ.
Just kidding. We don't have enough viewer base for that.
No, he's taken. He's mine. Fuck off.
Yeah. At some point, you and Mermaid will like have to fight to the death over that one. But
that's okay. I'm bigger than him.
I can understand why they would separate it like that, and I guess from a certain point of view, I do appreciate that as something like I don't care about dungeon raids because that's just extra time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's more time.
And a lot of the storylines for each expansion end off in a big dungeon or raid. Usually just one. The rest along the way are just like for extra, mystic gear and all that shit if you want to do it. I usually run them solo after I've done the storyline because I'm more interested in the storyline and the open world shit. Like that's what makes it fun for me, because you got to keep in mind the way Warframe has like an average of 10 to 15 missions per world that aren't main story relevant. World of Warcraft does that in one town, right? And they run it in a similar province state. For each expansion pack, they release a new part of the world in Azeroth that has like 8 new provinces to go through, and it has like 5 towns in each province. So there's a lot of content to go through that is really just background lore for fun. that you don't have to pay for the expansion pack. You can just play as long as you have the subscription. The other thing as well, like I said, going back to getting 2 full games for the price of 1 now instead of just the time cards for WoW, Classic. They are up to the Mists of Pandaria now, and you do not have to pay for any of those. Classic just gives them to you. So even that by itself...
That's really when WoW fell off, if you think about it.
It was, and that's why they're actually talking about stopping at the Mists of Pandaria. They're talking about not going any further than that with Classic, because that's when things started to really change. Because after that was Battle for Azeroth, when things went tits up. And so that in itself is already a good deal. But then you're getting retail on top of that. You know, that's 2 of the biggest MMO games in the world from the same company for 1 price.
I think Classic to me, I do understand that they've done a lot of graphical updating to it and optimization. Obviously, it's been made to run on modern systems and run well, as good as retail WoW.
Right.
It feels a little cash grabby. I understand why they're doing it, because they want to keep people subscribing. So if people just want the classic content, then that's how you keep a subscriber, right? I understand that, and I'm totally for that. Companies got to make money.
Right.
I would appreciate if there was... I would be willing to pay half.
That has been
one or the other.
Yeah, that has been the big...
both.
That has been the big gripe with WoW players for a long time. I am one of those people that would agree with you. I think that they should be allowing you to pick and choose. To the point that Billy
just made, for one isn't really a deal because... Oh, sorry. Typically, you're just going to stick to one. You're going to find one you really enjoy, and that's the one you're going to hardline, right?
The thing is, the reason why they do it, though, is because a lot of the WoW players nowadays hang out in Classic, right? But every time a new content expansion comes out, the retail side sees a massive influx and the Classic side sees a massive drop of players. And then once the new content is over, retail sees a massive drop in players and Classic sees a massive influx. So they are constantly bouncing back and forth. That is what makes it nice. I do get what you're saying. And like, I wish that they would have it set so that you could pay for one or the other, or pay the $21.08 a month for both. Which I think, honestly, as a whole, $21.08 a month is still pretty good for 2 of the biggest MMOs in the world.
Got money bags over here. Rich and we're gone right to.
Oh yeah.
I would pay, like, I feel like because all they've really done is remaster the classic content.
They remastered the graphics and they did a few quality of life stuff, but the one thing that I will correct you on, that you said,
give me like a $7.50 a month subscription to play Classic. That's all I want. I don't. Let the trial account work on Classic.
I agree with.
Losing here.
That I agree with.
Because Classic is some of the best of WoW, and it's like I could level 20 through Classic. That gets you right through Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
That's like the best expansion. Like, that's one of the best expansions that WoW ever put out. I would like to state that WoW's business model hilariously would work really well if they changed it to Destiny's business model, I think. And hear me out on this, because Destiny's business model is fucking not good.
You're about to tread on a lot of people here.
It would work really good for WoW, I think. And please just bear with me till I finish. I'm so close.
Gonna nut.
Don't bully, I'll come. Destiny's business model changed after the first game.
Right.
Actually, it changed about partway through the second game. So here's how it used to work, and I'll give you how it works now. So Destiny used to be that if you paid them the release price of the game, which when the first one came out was like 50, the second one, I know what you mean, Billy. The second one was like 70 or whatever. Too much money for an MMO. It's like just to get in the door, I think. It should have been cheaper. especially considering the baseline content of the main stories wasn't very good in either of them. That doesn't matter. So you paid your initial price of entry, you paid the wait your fucking rider to get through the door, or cover charge, and then like 3 months later, here's the first mainline content expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And Destiny's way of doing it was that because we got you on your end, you're gonna pay slightly less at every step of the way. And so the Destiny content expansions, they've gone up over time because they're like, well, each one's a full game. That's how they justified increasing the price. That's
Right.
a lie.
Right.
Not near to the same degree as WoW is. Like each, for as much as I'll hark on WoW, WoW's expansions are fully set games. Like you could play, because you used to just play one, right? You used
Right.
to, like you'd play the Burning Crusade and then it would end.
Right.
And if you didn't care about the fact that it leaves you on a cliffhanger into Wrath, then it doesn't matter because you come back for Wrath and you just play Wrath and then you go away like I got the order wrong. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
I was gonna say that should have been Cataclysm, I believe.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. I'm a Warcraft guy. I just played some of them sporadically over time. So like I played the Crusade and I got to play.
Oh no, you're
Cataclysm,
right.
if
You're
that
right.
was-
Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then I played Wrath. And then I played Mists. And then I played Cataclysm. And then I haven't played anything since after Battle for Azeroth. Like,
What's funny
So I
in
had
there
those-
is in between Cataclysm
play
and
those
Battle
as
for
full
Azeroth, there was
games.
3 full expansions.
I don't know.
Yeah, which actually,
the
oddly
last-
enough, has one of my favorites in it.
The last of the old expansions I played was Cataclysm. And
Yeah, so
that's probably where Classic should stop,
original trilogy.
actually.
Well, they were actually going to stop it at Wrath of the Lich King, and then
I do remember that.
They brought out Cataclysm, and people weren't
They said they were going
sure.
to stop it multiple times.
Right. Well, it seemed like Wrath of the Lich King was a good place to end it because, all in all, before Shadowlands,
Pretty self-sufficient story.
Before Shadowlands came around, the expansions ended up turning full circle to where the Lich King was the big bad again. You know, so he has been the big bad the whole time until Shadowlands, when fucking Sylvanas was like, hey, by the way, we're connected to another realm. I'm going to take your helmet and show you. And that whole bullshit exploded. But, so they talked about leaving
Turns
that
out
wrap.
Sylvanas Windrunner is the biggest piece of shit in WoW.
Oh, yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, also the biggest fucking goon either.
I remember being told to play it by a family friend, and so my dad was gracious enough to buy me, I think it was Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
He went out, he found the expansion pack, he downloaded it on our home computer, he set it up, and him and I played it together. Very limited on that one, but like I was playing through it. I remember the whole time because you meet Sylvanas pretty early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never liking him. Her, sorry. Never liking her. And like, I don't like this character. This character.
Right, and that's that's when you meet her before she's corrupted.
Yeah. Remember, like the first time I met her, and like, I don't know, would have been maybe 6 or 7 at the time, being like, I don't like this character. Like, probably at the time because I didn't like her design, which I still don't really. I mean, like, her design's improved over time, but like, this is OG WoW days. This is bad. Like, the titties aren't near pyramid enough.
Damn it.
Give me back Tomb Raider, Dad. Let me see Lara Croft again. But
you know
so
what?
like that was the thing. And then I remember, because the expansion where Sylvanas becomes like the actual enemy is much more recent.
Yeah.
And being like, and just remembering that specific memory in my head, I was like, I've been right the whole time. I knew it.
A lot of people,
I knew she was no good.
A lot of people knew she was gonna turn out bad, but they didn't say anything because they were too busy staring at her ass. The problem with it, that I'm gonna tell you this and make your life worse knowing this fact. You've never played a Blood Elf, have you? Like
No.
across any of your classes. I can tell
Nope.
because that statement for you would have been very different of like when you found out, because you would have found out immediately had you played a blood elf. When you start as a blood elf, doesn't matter what class you are, once you're done the first 5 levels of the tutorial and they send you to Silvermoon City, the main city for the blood elves, you take a lot of your quests right from the beginning of the game from Sylvanas herself. You go to the basement throne of Silvermoon, the throne room, and that's where she is, and she starts directing you and telling you what to do, where to go, and that's what you do. You go back and forth taking her orders, and when one of the first missions she gets you to do is go into the Eastern Plaguelands and kidnap an enemy and bring him back so that she can question him. We all know what Sylvanas' idea of questioning is. Torture. And she does it right in front of you. Like, she places this motherfucker in a binding spell right in front of you and starts, like, putting him through agonizing pain. And it's like, you're kind of a piece of garbage. Yeah, and you can't move the storyline forward as a blood elf unless you interact with her. So as much as you hate yourself, you have to make your skin crawl and keep interacting with her. It's so bad.
Yeah, Sylvanas is one of those characters that like you never come back around on. My point,
going
back to the Destiny thing, is that I feel like WoW's business model being more like Destiny would make sense, where like the game itself is free to play.
It would.
But the expansions are paid at a slightly like you can't act because like with Destiny you cannot access the story unless you own the expansion,
right?
Which is why a lot of people can't stand the Destiny business model, especially because after they hit I think it was like the 8th main expansion for Destiny 2, they started vaulting the old expansions, and the way they got around people's anger with that was they vaulted the expansions, they also vaulted the raids.
Right.
So you couldn't do like the mythic raid and try to get the Ace of Spades or the Gallarhorn. So what they did was they gave you exotic tokens, and you could use exotic tokens specific to the expansion that were in the vault to unlock one free exotic from each of those expansions. So like for me, I got the Ace of Spades because Cade's my boy.
Right.
And I used that for a while.
Cade was the one that Nathan Fillion voiced, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do like that one.
And like so I originally owned Destiny 2. My biggest issue with Destiny's business model is that they use grinding in order to keep you playing their game. So like when we originally talked about Warframe, my big pitch was it's a MMO that doesn't make you grind endlessly. It will make you grind, but that grind will go pretty quick if you have access to the places you need to finish it.
Right.
With Destiny, it was like go here, get 40 engrams off this specific enemy at this time of day in this instance.
The thing that counteracts that with Warframe, though, that
drop chance is 5%.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of WoW stuff is even less. You're there for the long game. The thing that a lot of people have issues with Warframe, which admittedly doesn't bother me because I get why they're doing it, is the gatekeeping on the time, like the timers for everything, like the timers for MRs.
The resets. Yeah.
Well, not even so much that, because the reset has nothing to do with your Foundry or your MR ranking or anything like that. It's just purely for your daily tribute. The MR, ranking, that a lot of people are pissed that has a 24-hour timer when they're reaching the next level limit for it within an hour after they've done it. The Foundry system, Warframe's taking 72 hours. A lot of people are pissed about that. I get why they're doing it, and it doesn't bother me because I come from the game of patience. World of Warcraft is all about patience. You are grinding with patience.
Here's the thing about Warframe and the time limiting. I think it's a good idea because Digital Extremes wants you to play their game, but they also want you to have they also want you to have like a social life where you go outside.
Right.
So
which makes sense.
Like, I think my argument that I made originally when I was walking you through kind of like what to expect on the times. Like, also Billy's right. It's an early game issue, 100%.
It is. And I get why it's an early
10, that goes away.
So here's my thought process on that with early game. The reason why they do it, and it makes sense, and this is probably going to make a lot of sense as well, because I've never heard you say this, and once I say it, you might click into it as well. The reason why it looks like the reason why they do it early game is because there's so much stuff that they want you to go through, and Warframe is admittedly a faster paced MMO. You know, it's a fast paced story driven MMO, so you're going through a lot of things all at once. So they gatekeep that stuff with timers so that you don't get overwhelmed with all the stuff. You get a bunch of time, and then they cap you off. Yeah, and then they cap you off.
100% correct, sir.
And they're like, okay, you can sit with this information, come back in 24 hours, you'll be good.
My Sherpa through Warframe, my roommate, my MR23 boy.
Right.
Who, when I told him I met someone that had a legendary rank, was absolutely flabbergasted. I actually...
Oh, Billy?
Fun fact, Billy, I had to...
he's got an ad.
Your profile...
I heard you.
I had to pull up your profile on Warframe, and that's right, he's got an ad. Shit, my bad.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
And we're back. Okay, so I told my roommate that I had met you, and that you had an LR4, and he didn't believe me. Neither of my roommates did. They're both MR22 and 23 now,
which is high up there.
It's extremely high up there. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, once you pass 10, the bell curve takes full effect.
Right.
But they were like, you haven't been playing with someone who's LR4. And I'm like, I have been. He's pretty cool, actually. And so I had to pull up your profile on my computer. I had to reopen Warframe to do this and turn my monitor over. And I just had to watch them both sit there like, huh. Like, the urban myth is true. One can achieve the legendary ranks. Yeah, 5 would be brutal.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I'm gonna expose. I'm gonna
6.
Think it's 6.
It's not super important.
No.
In my lifetime, it will never.
I'm gonna expose Billy for this right now, and it's kind of funny. Which, I mean, he said this on stream the other night too, so it's not like it's a secret. He has fought so hard to get to the highest LR purely because him and his Sherpa are petty with each other, and every time his Sherpa gets close, as soon as his Sherpa gets close, he's like, that just will not stand, and he goes back on the grind.
Yeah, I heard him and Keeg talking about it, and I got a really good kick out of that. My Sherpa's big thing when I was starting with Brad, and then LR3, that's not bad. And then when I was gonna start with you, and luckily you've kind of found Sherpas because it has somehow yet to line up just right that I also get to play during a stream. Was like, he was like, don't take them all over the place and bounce them around the starter constantly, because that's what he did to me. Right. And he's pretty confident the reason why I fell off Warframe so hard is because, like, I hit probably and I mean, like, fell off is a strange term, but like, I hit probably 100 hours in Warframe according to Steam, and I just dropped it.
Right.
Now, the reason for that, and I've tried to convince him of this multiple times, is that I had caught up to the story expansions at that time. So I didn't want to keep playing because there's nothing else for me to do. I didn't see any value in
there's no new content. Yeah. Nothing to keep you incentivized.
There's other ways to spend my time.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing this. So, yeah. So, I did have a slight gripe, but I'm not going to out you in public about that. I was telling Will about it a little bit earlier, but if it was anybody other than Will, I'd probably been like, hey man, what the fuck did you just do? This is a conversation we had. Our thought on this, and it's kind of counter to Digital Extreme's intent, is that Prime Warframe should be mastery locked.
Oh, right.
So
Right, that was, yeah. Right, right, because I was gifted Goss Prime. Yeah.
because you were gifted a Prime Warframe 2 hours after you started playing, and I was just like,
Yeah, but
I was
here's the
mad
thing
because
though. I'm not anywhere near getting the resources to build any of the components. They're all just sitting in my foundry. So it's not like it's doing
which
me any good. If anything,
yes,
it's just a harder tease.
yeah, well, that incentivizes you to keep going, right? So like that that's hey, listen, I love that.
Yeah,
We're gonna be best friends. Um,
that's why I'm not worried about it
because
because you
that
and
was the big thing
Billy
that
and Keeg are keeping me in check with this.
my roommate's big thing was that his concern was that because he bounced me all over the place so much across the star chart, I
he
never had the narrative path of the star chart
he
because
feels
the star
like
chart does tell you a story in and of itself.
right, yeah.
And it gives you all of the tools and it incentivizes very heavily that you follow the path of the star chart
He
to
feels like
make
he
it to your
ran you
goal.
out of order, therefore it confused you and you couldn't keep
And
interest.
it overwhelmed me because
Right.
Warframe, like, so here's where my argument that the Warframe main quest line content updates are expansions because
Right.
every expansion that Warframe has released has added something to the game.
It
So
yeah,
if you
and
go through that too fast,
that's an expansion
you
because if it wasn't part of the original
yeah,
game and it gets added after, it's not like it's just a patch or an update. Because updates and patches are bug fixes, maybe a level addition here and there,
yeah,
or some hot
they're
fixes. Not a whole new part of the game.
Digital Extremes, as far as I'm aware, has never called them expansions. They've always called them mainline content updates.
Which
The
makes
idea being
sense.
that they're progressing the story of Warframe through a
Right,
content update. And
right.
whether that be that they're expanding it forward, or they're going back and they're adding something or fixing something to make it more narratively cohesive start to finish,
Well,
which
in
Digital
that
Extremes is
case,
really, really good
I
for.
was going to say, in that case, it would be both. Because from what I've seen, that is what they've done. And from the stories I've heard from Billy and Keeg about how Warframe used to be, in the
Oh, I'm
moments
glad
you
for this guy.
in the
Oh man.
moments you aren't there, that's what it sounds like they've done. And so that's why they're calling it
Yeah.
updates, because they're updating while also expanding. But I will admit their expansions aren't massive like most MMOs are used
No.
to. So most people who play MMOs aren't going
Yeah.
to consider them expansions. But because I understand their process with it, I would say that's an expansion of the
Yeah.
base game.
And like every expansion that they released adds usually like because they kind of
That
water it
concerns
out.
me, Billy. That concerns me.
You know what? It's
No,
probably
it
for the
wa
best that
it
someone
it
with a
won't be that
legendary
bad.
rank is
Yeah.
doing this. There's the Digital Extremes Path content expansion in their game has been a watered down approach. So what I mean by that is it's the antithesis of the way everybody else does it.
Right.
Destiny's probably the closest with this because usually the way Destiny does it is you get the inline expansion and then about 5 or 6 days later, the raid for the expansion drops. So you have 5 days to play the story, and then the
Okay.
raid drops. And then
Which
everybody
that in
competes to who's world
itself
first.
tells me that the story for each expansion isn't that big either.
It's not.
Yeah.
Um, so Warframe does it generally, and it depends expansion to expansion. Some of them come with a new Warframe right out the gate. It's not often that's the case. The old war did with Uriel,
Hmm.
and then over the next little while after that expansion comes out, before they start working on the next one, because usually it's about once every 3 months you get an expansion.
Right.
So usually the next month and a half to 2 months, you'll get some stuff that ties you forward and some stuff that ties you back.
Yeah.
That was that is part of the expansion. And then for the month before a new expansion, so we're about to enter one on Friday, Digital Extremes will go dark. The internet will think they're shutting Warframe down for 1 month, and then the Shadowgrapher is going to come out on March 27th, I think. Yeah. Next quest line is March 27th,
Okay,
right,
that
Billy?
hold on.
Shadowgrapher.
That's been yeah, is it spelled shadow And then
It's spelled shadowgrapher, like a cartographer.
okay.
But I think it comes out end of March because it's been about 3 months. Because Old War came Peace, not Old War. Old Peace came out end of December. So January, February, March. Yeah, 3 months. We're good. It'll be end of March, beginning of April. At some point, there's always a little wiggle room, but they'll go completely dark. They'll be
It is Shadowgrapher.
Shadowgrapher.
Yeah.
There won't be any like if you sub to or if you follow the Warframe Twitch account, generally once a week they do a dev stream where they talk about what they're working on and like they'll show you the stuff that they're going back and fixing, the stuff that they're starting to work on next. Sometimes they do community polls over like what should be next. Reb Ford's really good for that because she started as an intern, then her internship ended. She's like, I don't want to leave this place. It's great. I like this game about ninjas in space. I'm just gonna keep showing up until you guys give me a job. So she literally just showed up to the office every day, and then eventually they were like, "You want to do the social media thing?" So she became the community manager for Warframe, and now she's the creative director for Warframe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Digital Extremes. We're one employer in Canada. They've won that award multiple years in a row.
Fuck.
They have like the greatest workplace culture on the planet.
It sounds like it.
Concerned.
Honestly, given the way that they presented themselves at the Game Awards, which was hilarious, but also so genuine but carefree at the same time. It's like, hey, we're comfortable where we're at. We're happy with what we're doing. The people are happy. Don't fuck with it.
I picked my roommate up from the airport. I think it wasn't this last rotation, but his work rotation before that. He gets in the truck and we're like halfway out of the airport and he goes, I met a celebrity on my way home. And I was like, who did you meet? Because he was flying home out of Montreal.
Right. Yeah.
He was like, so me and the boys went out for drinks at the Montreal airport because they always go out for drinks when they get to the airport after their last shift.
Right.
Like their last day on ship.
Yep.
They all, little team building activity. And he was like, and I'm sitting there with 3 deckhands from my ship. And I hear the Lotus from the other side of the bar. Rebecca Ford is the voice of the Lotus.
Yeah.
And he looks over, and down the bar, next to 2 other members of DE, is Reb Ford. And he sat there with his with his employees at work, and he's like, none of these people play Warframe, and so I absolutely can't get up and go say anything.
Oh man, fuck that. I would have.
And he was like, I was so close to like the most famous person I will ever care to meet. Yeah, that's valid.
He almost met Space Mommy.
He almost met Space Mom. I'd almost rather meet Space Dad. I'd love to meet the voice actor for Teshin.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I love Teshin. Teshin Dax is probably my favorite character, which is so funny because everybody's like, Teshin's an ass. I'm like, no, Teshin's great.
That's just Teshin behavior, though. He's a cool character.
Teshin is, his whole like archetype is either dad who lost the kids in the divorce, or weird uncle. Like lots of people call him Space Uncle, but like he shows up. He's got the wildest lore. He's just like, hey, you shouldn't do that, or you should know this thing because it's important. And then Space Mom comes and like gives him shit because he's not supposed to be telling you this.
Right.
And then he gets shooed off back into his corner, and he comes back later. He's like, Tenno, it's vitally important that you know this if you wish to walk the path. Like, okay.
Yeah.
What do you got to tell me this time?
I will listen to anything you say.
I love Teshin Dax. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oddly enough, I think my favorite character so far would actually have to be, this is going to sound fucking wild, but it would have to be Grandmother from Cambion Rift.
Grandmother in the Necrolisk is the funniest shit because have you traded family tokens to her?
No, I just met her and then went to Cetus afterwards.
Okay, so when you start going back and grinding standing the factions on the
Mhm.
planet specifically, so you've got the Ostron, the Entrati, you'll you've got Vox Solaris, um, all of them will have things that they want you to do in order to
Right.
exchange goods with them
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
usually they'll like Entrati is the easiest, and I will tell you why. It's because their whole standing system revolves around tokens. Each
Yeah.
member of the family provides you with tokens for finding them things in the Cambion Drift. Grandmother does not, because she at no point gives you tokens, or like she doesn't want anything.
Right.
What she wants is the tea. She wants all that hot
She
juicy
wants
goss
all the gossip.
from around the Necrolisk.
Yep.
She all of her things when you exchange for grandmother tokens is like it literally is like gossip about family secrets, and it's you need 20 tokens and 3 daughter tokens, and so you change them over, and then she says a little thing, and like you get 1 grandmother token for that. So the exchange rate's very bad, but grandmother tokens are the high value standing token. They're worth
Right.
1,000 each.
Right. Because she is the high
She
value person.
Yeah. And so all of them are like that, where it's like if you give her a large number of the family tokens, she will tell you something about the family,
Right.
which is always really funny. And then later in a later expansion, there's a second area that opens up on Deimos
Mm.
with another faction. That's the faction where Corvex comes from. They're really cool. And then another expansion opens with the old piece, and that's where the new proto frames come from: Roth, Leon, and Marie.
Yeah.
They're
I
all very interesting to talk to.
can I just say they
I
chose the
do have a
perfect way.
sadness I would like to report to the audience.
Okay.
I fucked up the romance with Marie.
Okay.
This has been weighing heavy on my soul. Actually, almost cried. I didn't realize it in the moment. I'd seen a TikTok where somebody was talking about how it's really easy to mess up her romance.
Right.
So eventually you'll get to a quest line where you play through the 90s.
Yeah.
That's where the Atomic Cycle comes from, which you want. You'll love that one because it's actually hilarious.
Right.
Once done that, they install a computer in your orbiter. That computer houses the dating sim. So you can talk to all of the proto frames and attempt to woo them. And I think there's advantages to this. I don't know that for sure. I've just been doing it for fun. But when you unlock La Cathédrale, which is where the Old Peace faction members are, you can talk to them too. And they also become a part of the dating sim. It's important to note, within the factions that you can talk to, you can only romance one at a time in each. So with the Hex, you can only romance one, and with the people in that Cathedral, you can only romance one. So I chose Marie because she's Wisp's proto frame, and
Right.
Wisp is pretty all right. And I fucked it up after like weeks because the conversation renews with daily reset.
Oh.
So every day at daily reset, you get a new conversation chain you can follow with each proto frame. And you can, so they'll say something, or you can prompt a conversation once a day, and then they'll tell you something, and like they'll talk about their lore, or they'll talk about the world they came from, stuff like that. And then you can react to that, and your reactions will either gain you favor with them or lose you favor with them.
Right.
When you start romancing them, eventually you have to make like a key decision on what specifically it is. So Marie's big on she's a big fan of Albrecht and Trotty. Not a lot of people are, and she asks you, this is I will fully spoil this, so you, if you choose the same fate that I did, you do not end up in the same hole. She asks you if your opinions on Albrecht and Trotty are your own, if they're you trying to get into her good graces. And I said they're my but the option that like it's they're my own is worded weird. It's like, well, yes, but also if it helps me stay friends with you, then that's not so bad either. That's the
Oh,
wrong fucking
you
answer.
friend zoned yourself, you dumbass.
It's not worded like if it helps me stay friends. It's like it's like I think he did the right thing because of whatever. It works out that you like him too. And then she takes that as, oh, you only like him because of me. And the other option, which is just blatantly worded like, no, why would you fucking say that? That's fucked. Which I didn't pick because I was like, that's the main option. I don't want that one. I want this one where I'm not agreeing, but I am stating my point. And she's just like, there's a little thing you can click on their icon and it gives you a breakdown of how they feel about you, whether or not you're close, trusted, or an outsider, and then like a very brief blurb about what specifically they think about you.
Right.
And it's based on your decisions in the dialogues. And I hit that button and she said what she said and the conversation ended right away. And I clicked it and it was like, I don't think romance is possible with Marie any longer because of this thing. And I'm like, God damn it. And you can't roll it back. Fuck. Son of a bitch. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, if I could just go back and because I genuinely chose the answer that was phrased better.
Right.
The one that was like not a thing to say. And she was like, you're a dick. And I was like, no.
You lied.
I've been working on this for months. Because I keep forgetting to talk to her. It doesn't take that long. It's like, I think it's like 15 conversation chains is what it takes to get to that point.
Right.
If you're consistently trying to get with them.
Right.
Just like flirting with a real woman for real.
Yeah,
it's
not
like
gonna
an MMO if you think about it, because it's massively multiplayer and we're all chronically online.
Yeah, and it's like the new ones where we're not allowed to go offline.
To kind of close the loop on this, I think I can respect your love for Warcraft. I don't think I ever actually shit on it openly. I get it. Like, it is fun.
No, and there was one last point I wanted to make in reference of why I love it more than Warframe still, because now I've put some time into Warframe, past 3 hours into the game. I'm getting close to 25 or 30 hours now, which has accumulated very quickly, I'll be honest. The thing is, what is my favorite genre of anime?
Isekai.
And what do you typically find yourself in Isekai, in the new world? Some sort of fantasy world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything against sci-fi or space or anything like that, but I also prefer stuff that's slower because it's easier for me to process that stuff and go through it at my own pace. World of Warcraft offers that as well as the fantasy. I am a sucker for fantasy, hence my love of D&D and Pathfinder. So that's probably one of my biggest reasons why I still love WoW over Warframe, is because it fills the niche that I enjoy.
I've always been a science fiction guy.
I can tell. The Bobaverse books that you keep giving me.
The Bobaverse books, my earliest memories are watching Star Wars with Dad.
Yeah.
He used to get the books on tape when we were in the truck together. So, like, we would go to the library and he would get, like, a full-size tote full of all of the Star Wars books on tape. That's valid. Fantasy is good, too.
Oh, yeah.
I have different requests of my fantasy, I think. Is what it kind of boils down to, is, like,
I know.
We like it for similar but different reasons. Like, I like D&D because I like the narrative storytelling aspect of it. I don't like stories that are drawn out to the nth. Which is where I kind of lose my luster on WoW. Is like the story it feels artificially inflated probably because of the price point that they've set their expansions at. Like, if you're gonna charge this much money for what is supposed to be the full expansion, which isn't necessarily the case as we've learned today, you've got to have a lot there to justify that price.
Yeah.
Video games, I think, all suffer from that. Like AAA games, you play a AAA game that's short, isn't very long,
Hmm.
and the price tag feels way too steep.
Hmm.
And then you play a game where it's artificially inflated, and you feel you've been cheated.
Yeah.
So it's like that fine line. Like there's games that are expensive to like the I guess like the like the everyman, right?
Yeah.
That are extremely long, but you have to like those genres. So like JRPGs are a perfect example. JRPG you can dump 150 hours, no problem.
Right.
Then there's also like like just regular role playing games that won't take you as long. You have to like the balance on that's very difficult to maintain. Billy brought up that player level tokens are a scourge where you can like instant max level a character. I would like to make a point for one franchise I think would benefit that system the most. Can you take a guess where I'm going to go with this? This is not a segue into a different topic, by the way. This is I'm just we're going to do this and then I'm going to hardline us into the next thing.
I know. Where are you going with
the
this?
Assassin's Creed games.
Okay, wait, hold on. Reiterate what you were saying.
Okay. Billy made a point that player level tokens that can be used to max level your character, are a plague. Right. And I agree with that. I think that kind of defeats the purpose. I get you just want to do the high level stuff. That's cool too.
Right.
I think if you've played like a character a certain way, but you want to try something else, that's also a really cool way to do it. Is like, I'm not dumping however long to get a warlock to max level because I much prefer the way the paladin plays or something like that.
Right.
You get the token, you get max level a warlock and see what it's like at the highest level, which admittedly ruin your experience with the class because you don't learn how to play it. Especially if you've never played it before, that doesn't matter. I do think there's one franchise that system would benefit greatly, and I'll put a condition on that. It has to be after the open world versions of the game started coming out, and that's Assassin's Creed, would benefit greatly from that specific system, and here's why.
Oh, so you're meaning like from Black Flag and on?
I mean, no, I mean like Origins on, because Black Flag didn't have a leveling system.
Right, leveling. Yeah, no, you did not.
All of the open world Assassin's Creed games, where you have to constantly be doing the side world stuff, like, you know what, you like open world, so this is going to fall on deaf ears. But for the people that like the Assassin's Creed games, have a terrible leveling system, especially in the open world entries.
They do.
It takes so long that Ubisoft's solution was, well, we'll just sell you an experience booster that doubles up your speed gain. Just let me run the character at max level like it's a regular Assassin's Creed game.
Or just get rid of the leveling system.
Or just get rid of the leveling system. There's no benefit to you having the leveling system in this game. It doesn't improve the gameplay experience. We already had great Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
A leveling system.
1 through Black Flag, and I would even dare say, what was the
1, 2, 3 Revelations, Rogue, Black Flag.
Yeah, but there was Freedom Cry. Thank you. There was little ones in between there though, like Freedom Cry and the Chronicles and everything that were good as well. Yeah.
The Chronicle games still come out, and they play just like an old Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
does. It's great. It's actually, those are the best ones.
Which I'm actually debating, given that the new Chronicles of Russia is actually the newest one that takes place in terms of timeline, because that one takes place in 1918 during World War One. Yep. Everything else takes place prior to that in terms of like time periods. I'm debating: do I play them in the Desmond Miles order, or do I play them in what year they took place in? Because I feel like that could also be cool, but I feel like the Desmond Miles really lays out how it's supposed to work and why they did what they did with jumping around from the different generations.
As a weird take, I think your best bet for the Assassin's Creed and doing it chronologically as you like to do for your franchises
Play them the
would
way
be
they
to
came out.
play the Assassin's chronological order.
Yeah.
I think would actually be the coolest way to do that because
So
it's
like
going to jumble the
so
games
like
a lot.
the way they came out, right?
No,
Or
the chronological year of the Assassins. So you'll start with Altair because he's the first,
right.
and then I actually think you technically would
No,
end up starting
actually,
with
I was
Origins.
gonna say no. Yeah, Altair is not the first. Was it Beck from Origins?
Beck,
Was the
yeah,
originator of the Assassin's
yes.
Creed? Well, he was
I
the
think the
originator
order would
of
be
the
weird,
Assassin's Creed.
but it would stop you from getting the open world burnout, the open world ones, because it would intersperse the regular ones, so you'd have something to look forward to. Because, like,
Right.
to be fair, after a
That's
certain point, they all
yeah.
have the leveling system. Because I think Syndicate would technically be the last, which, you know
No,
what?
no,
That's all right.
no. Chronicles of Russia
Or,
would be the
sorry,
last.
Chronicles of Russia.
Yeah,
But you'd
Syndicate
have
would be
Syndicate,
one of the last, though.
and then you'd have like the newest one would be definitively the last game you play, um, which would make it very difficult for your ordering. But if you wanted to like, because it depends, because different franchises you've played in different ways
Mm-hmm.
because of the way that they've been laid out. With the Fallout games, you could play them start to finish because they really have no narrative. Like playing the first like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3 New Vegas 4, and then maybe 5 if we ever get one.
Yeah, that
The early
makes
games you hear about as you progress.
sense because I mean, there's what 13 or 14 Assassin's Creed games now,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of them.
only the first 5 of them dealt with the Desmond Miles stuff. I just really like Desmond Miles' story, and I
Yeah,
don't want it to be a matter of like because Mirage actually happens at the same timeline as Assassin's Creed 1. So like Altair and the assassin from Mirage are happening at the same time.
yeah.
And so
In that case, I would play the older one first.
definitely, yeah, but I don't want it
Yeah,
to be. That's the thing, though, is I don't want to play Assassin's Creed 1, get the Desmond Miles storyline fully underway, because I do feel like that was the staple point for early Assassin's Creed, right? Like, Desmond Miles was the cool guy. And he made the story interesting the way they did it with the Animus
yeah,
Project. And I don't want to play through all of the first one, especially with how many hidden, like, Easter eggs there are that I'm excited to show people, like with your Eagle Vision in his room in the Animus building. I don't know if
yeah.
you ever did that or not. Did you ever see the secret writings and stuff? That
Yeah.
actually, those secret writings referenced Beck from Origins. So that was cool. But you know, like I don't want to do that and get everybody excited for the second one where he continues with, you know, Auditore, and then it's instead of doing that, I'm cutting off his story and going into Mirage where it has nothing to do with Desmond. Because at that point, Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
games
that
are just the fact of playing assassins. They're not like
yeah.
any.
Technically, Desmond stuff ends with 4, I think, with Edward
Three,
Kenway.
three.
That's also another weird one that you'll have a hard time rationalizing because technically, Edward is Kenway's grandfather or Connor's grandfather.
Uh, uh, yes,
Because Edward is
Hathan.
Hatham Kenway's dad.
Yeah,
Hatham Kenway is
Hathan.
Connor's dad.
Jesus
Connor is the
Christ.
assassin of the third game.
Yes.
Edward, Hatham, Connor.
Yes. No.
So 4 takes place before 3,
Yes.
which doesn't work because like you can't do that chronological flip
The
and
reason,
select 4 before 3
right,
because 3 is the end of Desmond's story.
right, but 4 continues it with the people that were helping Desmond when they infiltrate
Yes.
the Animus Project in the new
Mm-hmm.
headquarters. So that would be the justification there. But that's the thing, though, is
Because they
Desmond's
find
no
the
longer,
Animus candidate that's similar to Desmond,
and he's
and they
linked.
try to
Yeah,
continue his
right.
link.
They contact him because there's which I fucked that up hard the first time I played Black Flag because I forgot to exit the Animus like at all. I ran through 3/4 of the story in game, like in the Animus, doing all the open world shit. Like I had explored every island, I had hunted every shark type, I had explored every sunken ship. I was doing the random shit that was not necessary, including owning all 4 of the Man of War ships and sending them on delivery routes. And then I exited the Animus and I was like, right, I could do this. And I started exploring. And what should have happened at the beginning of the game when they give you your first objective to do, they were just kind of like, because I had gone so long without talking to them that the objective broke because I was now 75% of the way through the game completion when the objective they were giving me should have been at like the 5% completion marker. And I was like, fuck. So I ended up just playing through all of Edward Kenway's stuff and completely forgetting about the stuff outside of Animus. And then when I did my second playthrough, I did it properly and made sense. And yeah, whoopsie. But
oops, I do that.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing right now is I'm deciding, like, I do agree with you. I think it would be really cool to play it in the order of how the assassins grew as like a creed and a group. So start with Beck, and then I actually want to say the Cassandra or the male version of her, whatever the Cassandra line would be next.
It would be Valhalla next.
Well, no, because remember with Valhalla, there's a point where
Valhalla is Cassandra.
I thought I thought Cassandra was Odyssey.
Oh yeah, shit.
Don't fucking motherfucker! You ain't questioning me on this.
Listen, my bad. I can't remember what the Viking one was called.
So it would be Origins, Odyssey, then Valhalla, because there's actually a stint in Valhalla where you run into Cassandra.
Yep.
And then from there,
could not stand Valhalla.
So hard. I'm not looking to playing Ivor either. So
You want to know what really threw me off with Valhalla? Because you've played the game, you'll understand where I'm going with this. The segment where you're in Asgard.
Thank you, Alexios. Yeah.
Alexios.
Oh, that's Asgard? Stupid shit. Yeah. No.
And it keeps making you go back. It's like, go back to Asgard. I don't want to.
Yeah, go back. Don't you love being an assassin with superpowers? Not really.
Hey, if you don't go back to Asgard, you can't progress the story.
Nope.
You know what? Uninstall.
Yeah, no,
I'm not playing this game anymore. This game sucks.
I will admit that game.
Everything about that game was cool until it was like, hey, go to Asgard. It's like, I go raid
as
Britons.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna fuck their shit up.
Like, you're telling me I get to play out a video game version of Vinland Saga? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But
Vikings TV show on the History Channel.
That's the thing for me is when I played Ivor's storyline, I didn't care for the game as most people do because I was still full swing of like ride or die with the original Assassin's Creeds, and I felt they started fucking them up after 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like after Black Flag, they just went hard downhill. And
the most interesting part about Valhalla is actually the outside the Animus segments.
Yeah,
because you're traveling with what's her name? I can't remember if she's one of Desmond's crew or not.
Oh,
you're traveling to these ruins,
not Rachel.
These archaeological sites.
Yeah,
in quotations, which are just cabins in the woods that happen close to where the research is being done. And it's like, yeah, hey, you go check out this thing, and it shows you. You do it right after you create your character, like you pick Ivor or the female version, and
right.
You go out, and it's their skeleton.
Right.
That's what you see. That's who you've untuned.
So yeah,
unearthed.
The woman you're talking about was Rebecca Crane, the one that actually fixed and designed Desmond's homemade Animus. Yes. The other one as well that made me happy was the fact that Sean Hastings showed back up as well, and I love him because of his British sass. Oh man, I loved meeting him in the second one because at first it's like you're an asshole, but then you look at it and go, you know what? No, he's the right amount of appropriate concern and worry about this situation. I would be under that much stress too.
Yeah. He's the only one with his head on straight in this instance.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Black Flag when you're going through and because you can walk up to them and they don't notice you until you interact with them or like get close enough. You can listen to him and he's telling them, this is a terrible idea. Why are we back at Abstergo right now? What are we doing here? This isn't worth it. We need to leave. We are like this company actually wants us dead.
Why are we here?
Every time you have to go talk to like Desmond's original crew, Sean's like, this is the dumbest shit we've ever done, and we literally stole an Animus once.
This might be a controversial opinion, but after playing through Half-Life, I came to a sudden and very quick realization when I first met Alex, and my my brain cannot unsee it now. Who does Alex look like in terms of Assassin's Creed characters?
Actually, I've never played Alex. I don't.
No, but you played Half-Life 2, haven't you?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it.
Yeah, so you know
episodes on the 360.
Yeah, so you know who Alex is.
Yeah.
Does she not look like a younger, less built version of Cassandra from Odyssey? Cassandra obviously better graphics and better features, but she looks like what would have happened if Alex took steroids. That honestly, that's been bugging me for a while. Ever since I met Alex at the beginning of Half-Life 2, I've just been like, oh man, now that's ruined for me.
The open world Assassin's Creed games, just to close that one out, I think benefit the most of the max level character token because like the XP booster that counts for the entirety of your playtime in that game is like, I think it's $3. Like it's the most nickel and dimey purchase to make the game playable.
Yeah.
An extra $2, they could just, here's the max level character. Because why not?
Told you, Stephanie.
Because it makes no difference to the game.
Open
world ones struggle with that a lot, where it's like I have my one roommate really likes the Assassin's Creed games. The only reason why I ever played Origins, and I liked Origins enough to be like, okay, let's play Odyssey because I like that era of history is really cool. I also really like the Vikings, which is why I bought Valhalla.
Right.
That's another really cool geopolitical era of time. So like those settings got me, but it's like to play this at a manageable pace, true to like two Revelations and Brotherhood, like those the Ezio games, you have to have the XP booster because otherwise you get hard capped so fast. And like
it's meant for you to do all of the side shit.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I want to play an Assassin's Creed game. And like if I'm in a mission it's got a side objective, okay.
Because like all the stuff that's in Brotherhood, like with the defense missions and the assassin training missions and all that, you don't have to do those.
No.
You can
they
just
help
play
you if you do, but you can leave them alone.
But it's not impossible to beat the game without them.
I didn't do them until I was almost done the game.
Am I going to be... I'm going to be...
About them.
True, fair. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I didn't even do the crypt missions until my second playthrough of the game, and then I realized, yes, they're not necessary, and yeah, they are a race, but...
God, are they so important.
They're just cool, honestly. They're just fun layouts for parkour. Like, it's just a free reign, hey, forget about this for the time being, you've got 40 seconds, get across this crypt. Like... You gotta run, boy.
It's all mega death or mega don't. You went to a concert yesterday. How was it?
Painful.
How was Megadeth? Was it a dystopia?
It was really good. Honestly, the music was really good. It
was.
The thing I have come to realize of all of the different concerts I've been to with all the different music versions, because now at this point I've been to a rave party concert. I've been to a 90s themed concert. I've been to rappers, hip hop stars, rock artists, now heavy metal as of yesterday. The only music genre I haven't been to is.
I remembered, like yesterday, who the other act I saw with Mastodon was. It was Opeth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, I was like, yeah, Mastodon and somebody else, and I could not find the
Right.
ticket. Like, I was searching actively for it last week when we were doing this.
Yeah.
Saw Mastodon and Opeth live, and I'd never heard of either of them.
Really?
Yeah, and I got the tickets for $25 a piece, and I
What
took
did
our
you
boy
think?
Cooter. It's not for me. Super not. I would honestly have preferred to have gone to like a Slipknot or a Megadeth concert.
Oh, dude, Mastodon and
as
Opeth are
opposed
good.
to Mastodon and Opeth.
I think it'd be really
the music
cool
was
if
good. It
Osiris
just
would have
wasn't my
came with
thing.
them, but Osiris isn't really touring right now.
Anyways, you went to Megadeth.
Yeah, which reminds me, you said that you can remember the third group that came with them. So it was Megadeth, Anthrax, and Exodus. Given all the genres I've been to except for country, actually no, sorry, I have been to country. I went and saw Paul Brandt and Terry Clark when they came at the beginning of the winter. Paul Brandt is basically my one of only 4 country artists that I marginally listen to. And I was not impressed with their live show. And after being to a heavy metal concert, I gotta say that the bar is set pretty high for every other concert I go to from now on. Because how many concerts have we gone to where all they want to do is talk, right? They it seems like they care more about talking than playing music, and it's sad because they do great music.
Hailstorm.
Right? Hailstorm.
Half of their set was her talking.
Honestly,
I was like, I don't care. You're a millionaire. You can't relate to me.
Apocalyptica was really good because they kept the talking to a minimum, and then they played the shit out of those cellos.
Those cellos.
And then, which is weird to say when you think of rock bands.
Lindsey Sterling was really good.
She did a little more talking, but still a lot of playing, and she moved a lot. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I was tired watching her.
Yeah,
like,
I know. And then Hailstorm, it seems like they have gone down the route of like, oh, we're famous, we don't have to try that hard anymore. And it's like, no, I still paid to see you display your musical talents. I don't give a fuck how fast your mouth runs on the microphone. I want to see how fast your fingers play on the guitar. Like,
lots of the concerts we've been to, that has been the case.
And it's upsetting. And
all of the good concerts I've been to, that is not the case. One of our friends and I, when we were in trade school, went to go see Coulter Wall.
Yeah, I remember.
I
remember you saying that. Yeah.
Coulter, not a talker.
No,
he's a singer. Right, he's here to honky tonk the blues, bro.
He's here to do his God-given talent.
Yeah, I went to the One Bad Santa show in Saskatoon in 2018. Not a lot of talking. They talked a little bit because it was a Christmas show, and they were going to talk about Christmas a little bit. And you have to have enough talking to engage the audience. July Talk at Louis, same deal. When I saw the 21 Pilots, same deal. Not a lot of talking. They talked enough to keep everybody
engaging with the audience, which you should do, but not to the extent that like Hailstorm and I will admit even Shinedown did that quite a bit. They did more talking.
Rambled.
They did more
Pop
talking
People
than
too.
Yeah, and
if you remember, like Pop People talked a lot.
And at the time, I was just so amped for their music because I hadn't been to a lot of concerts at that point. But now that I have been, I still really enjoy their music. But it's like, would I spend the money to go see them live again just to spend 2/3 of the show listening to them talk?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Whereas,
like with Megadeth, that wasn't the case. So the way it went
was concerts are much better for that.
Which is why the bar is set higher for me now, because like Exodus, they're the ones that opened. They played the fuck out of their instruments and then literally talked for like 2 minutes, if that, at the end of their show, which was only 30 minutes long because they were the opener. They weren't running very long. So they also had a few songs they needed to get through in 30 minutes. So they played the fuck out of their instruments back to back to back. And then they said a few words after they were done about how cool it was being in Saskatoon for the first time ever. And then that was it. They left. And then Anthrax came on and they played like 3 songs in a row, talked for 30 seconds to get the crowd amped up. They actually started a mosh pit, and we watched people get bullied down in the mosh pit for the rest of the night. That was hilarious. And then they played another 5 songs. They said their thank yous, and then that was it. So at this point, all in all, we're at less than 5 minutes of talking between 2 bands, and we're almost 2 hours into the show, because it started at 7, and Megadeth didn't even start till 9. And then Megadeth played until almost 11. Yeah. And there was...
You're getting your money worth at a metal concert.
That's just it. And there was less than 10 minutes of talking in those 2 hours of playing.
That was... I had a similar experience to that with Five Finger.
Yeah, I could see that. I really wanted to see them.
It was... Their 2 openers... Actually, their 2 openers played like it. Pierce the Veil and...
Oh, Pierce the Veil would have been good.
I can't remember who their other opener was. It was a bigger name too, that I actually knew quite well. Anyways, they started early, and they went until 11:30 at night.
Yeah,
it just kept going. The doors to Five Finger opened at 6. The opener wasn't supposed to start until 7. The opener started at 6:45.
Yeah.
And I remember we were still making our way to our seats from the bar, because we were in the lower bowl, kind of where you and I sat for Hailstorm.
Oh, Hailstorm. Yeah.
And we were all the way down, right at the barriers.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice, because legroom is a thing. So that was wild, and they played 45 minutes, and it was a 25-minute break, and then the second opener came out, and they played for an hour, and it was 10 minutes, and Five Finger was out.
Yeah.
And they played, I think it was probably 3.5 hours by the time they were done. They just kept going.
Well,
this is awesome.
Anthrax actually ended up going longer than they were supposed to, because Exodus only played for 30 minutes. They started at 7, went till 7:30, and then Anthrax was supposed to start at 8. The sound crew between Exodus and Anthrax were so on the ball, working in cohesion, that they got all of the sound equipment between the bands swapped out on stage in less than 10 minutes. It was impressive to watch. I was thoroughly shocked. And Anthrax started 5 minutes later, so it is 7:45. They start their set, and they went until 10 to 9. Anthrax and Megadeth's group worked together, got Megadeth's shit set up within 5 minutes. We watched 20 people on stage scramble, which I think actually one of the most humbling things as well that I've ever seen was the members of Exodus came out to help set up Megadeth's equipment. When do you see that? That was really cool. And that was really wholesome in a way of seeing, hey, we haven't forgotten where we've come from. We get how this equipment works because you guys make it work for us. Let's help you out. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, Megadeth started at 9, so 10 minutes in between Anthrax and Megadeth, and then they played until 10 to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal concerts are great because you always get, if you're going for the set list, a metal concert will usually give you the best set list. It's the longest. So lots of people enter video games, and it's kind of a terrible metric, but they'll measure them in what's called arcade value.
Yeah.
And basically, it's you take the cost of the game and you divide it by how many hours you put into it. So if you pay $20 for a game and it takes you 10 hours to get through it, start to finish, you have nothing else to do. Like you don't want to go back. You're done with the game. It costs you $2 an hour.
Yeah.
I use that for various different forms of entertainment. Racing has the worst arcade value, which is part of the reason why I've decided not to do this year. I'm like, I don't want to spend $1,000 for what ends up being over the course of a weekend. Oh shit, I had this number pretty much wrapped. It was like 20 hours.
Yeah.
Ish at absolute maximum, because you get 4 Saturday, 4 Sunday, so it's 8, and then if you're really pushing it, I guess you're closer to 16. You could probably run 8 hours on track on Friday if you really pushed your car to the nth.
Right.
Which you can't, because you will break something about hour 3.
Right.
Just mechanical limitations prohibit that. I don't have an endurance car. So like you get, let's say on the high side, 12 hours. Divide $1,000 across 12 hours. 1,000 on the low side, it's probably $1,500. You're over $100 an hour for your activity.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
That's expensive.
Not great.
No.
It's super expensive.
Yeah.
And that's not like, you can't count the time you spent getting ready before and the time you're going to spend fixing after. So like, it's just pure, I'm doing the thing I paid for enjoyment. And it's not a great return. And like with no prize pool, there's just no return. Even if you have a competitive car, you don't get anything back from it. So video games, people use that measurement a lot.
Which makes sense.
I like to use that for concerts, like, because I look at a concert as like, how much enjoyment am I going to get for my money?
Right.
That's why I'm very selective. Like I used to whore myself out for live music.
Right.
Like,
go to every single one you could do.
Every concert for a band I even remotely knew. I didn't really care about how far it was. Like, I'm going to this concert because I'm going to this concert. Like, yeah. I'm going to do that this year for Shinedown because they're playing in Edmonton's the closest ship.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish.
But like, it'll be, there's already got a couple people that want to go. We're already kind of looking at the pricing on it. It'll be $100 for the ticket, which isn't bad.
Right.
And then it's a tank of gas to get there and back and a hotel for the night.
Yeah.
That's livable. I did, like, my roommate and I did Kaleo. We did a turn and burn for Kaleo. Yeah. We once did a turn and burn for the Elton John Billy Joel tribute band in Edmonton.
Oh my God.
Which, you know what? You'd think that would be terrible. I paid $75 for a table with 4 seats.
Yeah.
It was excellent. The best part about it was when they did their encore, they switched outfits. So the Elton John performer dressed up like Billy Joel and the Billy Joel performer dressed up like Elton John. And because it's something that everybody who knows about those two artists in that time frame, like everybody makes that joke about, like, it would be really funny if Billy Joel performed dressed like Elton John, because I think he did once.
Right.
And they did that, and they performed a couple of songs together. As like, because the way it worked, the whole show is they played at the same time.
Right. But it was always one or the other song.
It was always one or the other song. So the other one had a chance to take a break.
Right.
Because
they
were performing.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done lots of shows like that. I won't do that anymore. The limit on a turn and burn for me at this point is Regina. And you know what? Not a lot of artists are going to Regina, aren't coming to Saskatoon. And the last show I looked at doing that for, I was going to make it a weekend, was Halloween weekend. There was an EDM festival in Edmonton that Rez was playing at.
The who?
And Rez, R-E-Z-Z.
Yeah, sorry, your mic cut out as you said that.
Yeah, she's from BC.
Yeah.
She's an EDM artist. She's probably one of my favorite to do, like, that does her style of EDM. And so I was trying to find people who wanted to go. The problem was the day tickets to go for just the Friday was like $200.
Oh.
And it was 4 stages. And I was like, across the entire 8 hours of the day that they have live music, there's only 4 artists I wanted to see. Porter Robinson played before Rez. I was like, okay, I want to go see Porter. There's a couple small ones that I know, and then Rez. And Rez plays last. So if we're going to drive home, that means we're leaving at 1 a.m. and we get back to Saskatoon at 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not happening.
Right.
And I'm not getting a hotel. I don't have family I can stay with in Edmonton. All of my friends, I'm not waking my friends up so that 3 random people and their buddy Chris can show up and like sleep on their couch for 3 hours and then drive home. It's not happening. I have another bit about that. So in May, the first week of May, I'm going to the honky tonk in town itself. Going to Nashville, which is why I got a passport for the car wash show.
Yeah.
Kelly has informed me that I have my evenings to myself as long as, like, if the owner wants to do something, it is recommended I go to the bar with the owner because I'll have a good time. And I have some customers that are going too. So I thought, well, this is where the Ryan Theater and the Grand Ole Opry are. It's the country music town. Yeah. There's got to be some high dollar country artist that I could maybe get like a couple of my customers, because I have 2 customers for sure that like one customer I know would go to a country show, and it could be because that way I have adult supervision and I won't get shanked in a back alley in Nashville, Tennessee, for wearing a red jacket. Like, I don't know, it's the States, it's a wild and lawless place,
especially in those parts.
He says to all of our American listeners, the voice memo you sent me about the guy who you guys met playing Warframe from Nashville, I was like, I gotta meet this guy so we can talk some Warframe while I'm in Nashville. But that specific week, there is not a single performing artist that I would even consider paying to see except Hudson Westbrook. And I don't like any of his songs enough to justify going to see him. I have one of his songs in my playlist. That's it. Not a single one. I was like,
wait, who all's playing? Do you remember who all's playing? Is it all newer people or is it older people?
It's all newer people.
If
it was older country, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, absolutely. I'll go see an older country artist. But it's all like newer and lower rung country artists because they the
ones trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah. And so I was like, I was really kind of hoping I could get to see Treaty Oak Revival because they're a rock band, but they frequently go to Nashville and they play shows. And I was like, if I can get a ticket early enough. But Treaty doesn't have any show dates. They have a show date that would conveniently line up if I drove. I could drive through the town that they're performing in on my way down to Nashville.
Right.
And the interstate system makes that really... I'm considering driving instead of flying, but also part of me doesn't want to drive because that'd be hell. Not the first year anyways. Maybe the next time I go, driving would be the way to do it. Because there's lots of cool places to stop in the States and take more time off.
I think I'm just too used to long distance driving from growing up in the semi with parents, but the thought of doing that doesn't scare me at all.
It's not that it scares me; it's the time required. And
well, that's what I mean. Like my first thought isn't how long is it going to take. My first thought is how many things am I going to get to do along the way.
I could probably work it out with my employer that I would get the value of what my flights should cost as a travel bonus, and I could exchange what needed out of that into US dollars, which would, I would argue, get me significantly further, and then I'd just give him the remainder when I got back, which I'd be okay with. So I could do that. I could go take in some sites and maybe catch some concerts because the Treaty Out concert is in the northern states like 2 days before
Right.
I have to be in Nashville for the show.
Right.
And I was like, okay, if I were to go, it's the interstate. I can do 80 miles an hour down the interstate. Gas is cheap. I take my new summer car, which would be a true roadkill. This is going to go terrible for me. Or I could take my truck and like it's like the truck's truck. Or I could take my car because it's summer. The car is reliable enough on the highway. I could do that. Plus the interstates are smooth, so I wouldn't have to worry about blowing the oil pan out of it somewhere in Iowa. Like, I was trying to juggle out in my brain. I was like, hey, Nashville is apparently a 3-day drive. So like I'd have to leave Friday morning.
Right.
Whatever. I could go from here to here and here to here. And I was like doing the math. I was like, hey, if I want to take in concerts, it's an extra day. And then the debate became, okay, do I try to take in concerts on my way down or my way back? Because the show ends on a Wednesday. And I'm getting paid for the 3 days I'm at the show. That's work.
Right.
So if I take Thursday, Friday off and I make a week out of the drive back, that's not so bad. As long as I'm back by Monday morning at 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've been playing with it a little bit. And I want to talk to Kelly about that probably sometime like the end of March for sure. Because that's when he's going to want to book flights in the hotels.
Right.
Because I'm just going to get him to do it. And I'm going to talk to him and be like, hey, look, I want to drive because it's a car wash show. I'd like to drive. I'll take my truck. It'll be reliable. Like, I'm not going to take my new car. I'm not going to take my race car.
Yeah.
Although the race car idea seemed fun in my head because I could put it on the slicks and stop at a track day on my way back.
Right.
And then I looked at the cost of participating in a track day in the States. And the potential gamble that my car just explodes on track. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money left to fly home.
I think you would probably have a better bet of just having a fun
the track.
Well, that for 100% reliability, but I'm meaning if you were considering one of the two cars, if you were to just gently cruise it, you would probably have a better bet of safety with the Toyota.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's one of those things where like I'm going my tax return, hey, do taxes. It's important.
Do taxes.
You know what's really not the greatest idea, American friends and family in the chat? Trying to evade your taxes with the IRS.
Because the G-Man will show up at your door.
The G-Man will get you. Here's something that's actually scary. So, like, I owed the Canadian Revenue Agency many thousands of dollars for years.
Right.
I was safe doing that here. I would not be safe in doing that in the United States of America.
No.
Because the United States of America still believes in the debtor's prison, which is if you owe them enough money, they'll just throw you in jail.
Yeah.
And you'll serve out your sentence in exchange for dollars. And guess what? When you get out, you still owe them money. Straight to Venezuela.
Good
Or
Guantanamo it is.
Guantanamo it is. I've been at Alcatraz in a Black Ops 2 Zombies map. I know my way around.
As long as it's not knock, we're good.
Yeah. The other angle to driving down to the States and driving back was I thought it would be really cool to do part of Quebec because Quebec is like barely a real place, but the parts of it that are real are cool. Plus we have friends that may be moving back, so it would be fun to stop in and see them for like a day and then continue my dusty
right. Is there any timeline on when they're like for sure going to be doing that?
When I talked to Brad, he said they're hoping June or July.
So this summer.
Postings come out in May.
Right.
Generally for contracts. So if they get to move, which is still nothing is certain with the armed forces. They won't know till probably end of April at the earliest.
I thought he was on disability.
Yeah, but she's posted with the armed forces.
Oh, I didn't know Trinket was in the military too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
All
how they
right.
met. They met at
We
basic.
we had never gone over that. Okay.
Yeah, this little deep dive lore on someone that most of y'all will probably never meet. Um, she is active service with the armed forces, which is how they're trying to maneuver their move. That's why it's not a sure thing.
Right.
They bought themselves some bikes in Ontario to go get their bike license with.
Right.
Just some small 125s, which is awesome for them. They were telling me about them. They actually sound rad.
Wait, I thought you said they got.
Almost had me on board.
I thought you said they got ZX4s.
That wasn't a sure thing, and I think they looked into the licensing process in Ontario, realized they need to supply their own bike.
Right. Okay. I hope to God they
'Cause,
didn't
like-
get the Kawasaki 125 then, because I feel my
No.
condolences for them. Good.
No, if I recall, it was CF Motos.
Oh, what the fuck? They went Enduros?
Yeah, they got one that styled like a cafe racer and one that styled like a sport bike. They got like the CF Moto Grom is like its equivalent bike. Just small bikes to ride and bomb around
No,
in.
that can't be right, because CF Motos is the Enduro for the motocross dirt bike.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
They're brand new?
I haven't looked into it. They're brand new.
So that's
he literally
Honda.
told me about them last week. But where's it going with that?
I don't know. I was waiting to turn back
maybe
around
cool
on
to
the concert.
on the Megadeth thing. So yeah, anyways, the one time I go to the Radio Music Town, Radio Music turns out, and that is just like the actual tragedy of my life. I haven't told Kelly about that yet because I've been looking for a little while. It's the only reason why I got my passport. He thinks it's to the car wash show and get paid to do it. No, it has nothing to do with getting paid to travel international. It has everything to do with trying to go see a country music show,
right,
in the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah,
like, that's if you even kind of like country, like the slightest amount, and you know a little bit about Nashville, Tennessee as a town. That's like a bucket list music item. And I can't do it. God damn it. There is a Grand Ole Opry show, like I think it's their 100th anniversary show, is that week. But it starts so early in the day, I can't go. Because I'm, like, the show schedule for vendors, or not vendors, but, like, distributors has not been dictated, but, like, we usually end up in meetings with different suppliers all day.
Right, okay.
So I have to go and be corporate. And yes, I think the process around of this has ruined our throughput. And
I would like to correct myself
business words.
quickly, because I am looking into it currently. I had forgotten that there was a non-English brand of motorcycle out that way, literally called CF Moto.
CF Moto.
So that makes sense why you said there were two very different styles of bikes that were both 125, because those are their like SCFs and NK lines.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They're like wicked cheap.
Well, yeah, because they
125 is cheap.
Well, yeah, because CF Moto is one of the like Asian brands, kind of like the Tao Taos.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they are a Chinese.
The biggest problem with them is when they break trying to find the parts, because not a lot of places sell Chinese bike parts because they don't classify. We do, but Recreation Supply doesn't have a way to get any parts for them because it's the same instance. They're not classified as an American or metric bike, so the parts listings for them are few and far in between. No, my knowledge, given what I've worked with the most with Asian market, European market, and Asian market, I say specifically like the big three, the Japanese brands, Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Honda. Honda actually has a dirt bike that is a motocross class bike called a CF Moto that starts at 125 and goes up in cc range to a 450 four-stroke. Very fun bikes, which is actually why the Kawasaki brought back their KX 450F four-stroke, in 2018 because Honda was cornering the market on the 450cc four-stroke, and Kawasaki was like, well, no, we can't let that stand. But yeah, no, I had forgotten about the French Chinese CF moto brand, so that is my bad. You may continue. I was never here.
That's look at me. I'm a big dumb stupid idiot this time. It happens. But yeah, that's like the greatest disappointment of my 20. It'll be my 28th year around the sun. I'm going to be in the town to go see country music, and there is nothing I want to go see.
Yeah, but at least
I guess I'll just have to drink my blues away at a bar instead. Oh well.
I fucking
Sad.
hate all of the country references you have been making since you started talking about this. You human piece of
Nashville
trash.
is actually. I'm so excited to go to Nashville.
It's a cool place.
It is, and like the place, like the arena that hosts the convention itself, is in like the old part of Nashville, where like the end of Bourbon Street.
Right.
So like you get out of the show, and I remember talking to Ken about it one time. He was like, "Yeah, I remember getting out of the show one year while the Stanley Cup games were on, and there was people in the streets watching the big screens on Bourbon Street because the bars were so packed you couldn't get in." He was like, "It sucked for us because we just wanted to go to the bar and drink, and we didn't care about hockey, but like you're right there." And our hotels were always like you had to Uber to the hotel anyways, so it didn't really matter.
Right.
My big problem with like driving into the States has nothing to do with like driving or crossing the border. It's just the price of everything in the States, like and the conversion specifically, because everything's cheap, but it costs 50% more.
So one thing I can tell you, because I've been down that way enough times growing up in the semi with my parents, if you find yourself with like a hard day where you're just like, hey, I have nothing to, what do I want to do? I would definitely suggest you take a hop down I-40 West, the interstate. Because if you go down that interstate for about 3.5 hours, you will find yourself in Memphis. There is a shit ton of cool things to do in Memphis. First and foremost, obviously, Graceland. You can do the Memphis City tour with the Elvis Experience. You also have the Stax Museum of American Soul, which is like soul music museum. I think they call it Exploring the Sun Studio now, actually. You can visit the National Civil Rights Museum, which was pretty neat. And they've got a few other little things that a lot of people don't know about. Like, they actually do guided ghost tours, like ghost walking tours. They take you through places that are abandoned at night. And they do a haunted pub crawl as well. So that's pretty cool. They do, it's called the Gateway to the Blues Museum. So they've got quite a few museum attractions, which is cool. I do know that the ticket entries to their zoo is only like $34, which is not that bad, as far as zoo entries go. And then if you just hang around long enough, you'll hear the music on Beale Street. Beale Street always has live music playing. It's really cool. Yeah, I would definitely say if you find yourself with a little bit of time, take a stroll down to Memphis.
Yeah, I think for this year I'm probably just gonna fly it and then kind of see where I land next year.
That's fair.
If I had a bike, I would be probably. It's one of those weird things. Like if I had a bike, I'd be more willing to do it.
So call me crazy, I know, because of my body and everything. But if you had a bike, I would. Well, I can't really say book the time because I'm not working. But I would move heaven and earth to do whatever the hell I had to do to ride down with you.
It could be fun.
That would be awesome. And yeah. I have Bluetooth pieces that connect to the helmets, so I could give you the secondary one, so we could be in contact the whole time.
Yeah, I gotta figure out my bike license this summer, and then kind of see where the finances lie at the end of summer to see whether or not a bike is in the cards. Because
Well,
I do want a motorcycle.
in the near future is what I would say. Because I mean, I know eventually
Yeah.
you're gonna want one bad enough that you're gonna get it anyways. But if you think
Yeah.
it's feasible in the immediate future,
Yeah, I got to see. There's a lot of things I have to shake out
hmm.
that like I'm pretty much waiting until May, and and beyond that slightly to actually see, because like buying another thing on its own maybe not the best decision I've ever made,
Right.
knowing what I know. Because like July could hit and be like, cool, so we're moving. The roommates are moving to a different town.
Right. And
Time to
now,
figure that one out.
yeah, now you're stuck trying to figure out how to pay to live somewhere while also paying the loan on your truck and a loan on a motorcycle
Yeah.
and
So like,
maintaining two older cars.
yeah.
No,
If
I
that
definitely get it.
if that happens, like I already have a home for the golf to go and live out in yonder pasture.
Right.
And like the Yatoda has its own place to go to, which part of the negotiated deal that I cut on that car was that I have a place to store it.
Right.
A place to store me and my belongings I don't have.
That's different.
Um,
Yeah.
I have a buddy that is currently going through a experiment with whether or not his house is big enough to support that, because he has a small house that's like just up from where I live.
Oh, okay.
And him and I get on real good. So I was like, yeah, if you have space and you're willing to like have a roommate full time, I'm willing to come and pay rent.
Right.
You just need to give me the number before I move in. That's a
Yeah,
lesson
well, and
I
that's also dependent on if your current roommates move to a different city or not.
Yeah. If they don't, then they buy a house and I'm set for years.
Yeah. Wait.
At least until I have enough ponied up to buy, because
I mean it would give you the time you need to pay off the current debts you have and get everything set straight for the biggest debt of anyone's life.
Yeah. I keep joking about how when this truck loan is equitable, I'm going to trade it on another new truck, and I don't. We'll see how the next couple of years goes, but like as it sits right now, I don't want to do that. Like I actually do very much enjoy this truck, and I feel with a couple minor changes to it, it could be better than it is.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake I made
3-inch downpipes off the turbos.
Yeah, that was
what I mean? Like,
biggest mistake I've made.
Cargo suitude? Truck suitude.
The biggest mistake I think I made in my early life, other than working myself to the point where my body is now broken, was when I basically like locked myself in with paying the bills in the house we were living at, as well as paying for my motorcycle, paying for the Impala, and paying for that journey all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, admittedly, I wouldn't have the type of motorcycle I have now if I hadn't done that. Because, let's be honest, the bike I have is pretty rare and a one-off kind of thing. But I still, no matter how you look at it, I still card locked myself because I had nothing left to do anything with.
I've got a couple years before I'm like in real trouble, I think.
Yeah,
it's kind of where I'm at. Like if
I've got
if my roommates move and I have to find a new place to live, I have places I can go, and I'll have enough lead time on it that I can secure that relatively quickly. Am I gonna like living with my sister? No.
But
will I
is it
do
an
it?
option?
Yeah. If it's the only option available to me at the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Kelly going to enjoy storing my toolbox? No. Is he going to do it? Yeah. Because otherwise, I'm going to find a different job in a different city and I'll move back in with my roommates.
Right.
Like,
simple math.
The thing that ties me here is I like my job and my roommates have provided me a place to live cost effectively.
Yeah.
Could I live somewhere else? Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time you've done it.
Nope. My siblings don't require me to the same degree they once did. So like my friends and I all get along well enough that I'm willing to drive to visit them.
Yeah.
Like I've been long days to go see people I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
So like that's not a huge deal. If it changes the drive time, it changes the drive time. I'm still gonna do it.
Right.
Just becomes more difficult to schedule. But hey, if I move to a different city, there's like a ton of time freed up right off the bat. Oh yeah, sorry, I can't come right after work to help you.
That is true.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you'd have to
I
give
can go
me like
play video games. What a shame.
Have time to myself. What's that?
What's that? Probably die of a heart attack.
You probably would find yourself very bored very quickly.
I get bored on like a Saturday afternoon. I have nothing going on, and it's just like I've been sat around all day.
Yeah.
I'll play video games for like 5-6 hours, and then like I just start to hurt because I've been sitting around all day. I'm like, there's gotta be something to do, right? None of my friends need help. That's crazy work. That's insane. Winter helped out a lot too, because it's like winter, everybody slows down. So
well,
I usually just leave work stuff until the weekend. So when I get on a Saturday, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do a work thing real quick. And I'll hammer out some work stuff. Usually it's just like research, trying to find pricing on things.
No, I don't think it's so much that
do a quote
none of your friends
Saturday night
need help with anything. I think it's so much to the fact that the friends you have now are real friends in the sense that even though they are wanting to do something or struggling to do something, they know that you are tired and you have done a lot of shit and they don't want to ask you to do one more thing.
The roommates actually told me not to put the house back together when I got home. They were like, hey, don't worry about it. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. Because they won't home till tomorrow afternoon at earliest.
Right.
It's like and that's very specifically one of them will be home tomorrow afternoon. The other one still goes to school.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna put the bedrooms back together because that's like it took me longer than I had anticipated this time because my legs a little goofed. But the bedrooms, the office is back together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was done. I moved some of the stuff in the living room so that like they could come in with their bags.
Yeah.
From the hotel and like set stuff down. They were like, we're probably not gonna put the living room back together Saturday. And I was like, well, I'm gone Saturday anyway, so cool. If that's what you guys want to do, I'm down for that. They'll move stuff earlier because they use the living room every day. Like,
yeah, fair.
I envy their day-night cycles because they get up. She doesn't have to be at school till like 8:39. She gets off like. I envy the life of a student, I guess is what it is. Because like one of them is at home for 5 weeks, he's gone for 5 weeks. That actually sucks. I've done that life. That's not fun.
No.
But like the other one, full student mode. Class starts. I think her classes start at 9. She's done at 3.
Yeah.
Do you remember how great that was? Remember being home at 4 in the afternoon?
Timeline wise, yes. Being at school, no. That shit sucked.
The amount of money I had at the time, no.
I really, honestly, for that reason alone, I have thought about moving to fucking Sweden because their full-time work days are 6 hours a day, Monday to Thursday. You got a 3-day weekend every weekend.
Yep.
And their minimum wage is
just as much as we do.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah. Because their economy is so properly balanced that they can afford to pay their employees more for less work, and it's not fucking over their dollar value.
Chat, when is Western society going to get the economy patch?
You're funny.
When's the day one economy patch coming out? I don't think late stage capitalism's working so great no more.
When's the day capitalism dies?
Shogunate was right. We need to oppress the mercantile subset of society.
I bring up
sway the king.
I bring up Marxism quite a bit for that very reason. I always look at hope and go, hey, they can't stop us all.
speaking of stopping us all, Formula One testing. I don't know, unless you have anything else you want to talk about with Megadeth.
I was just going to talk.
So hard off of that.
I was just going to talk about how the sound quality got better with each band, and there was actually a lot of people.
Guys like start figuring it out. Yeah.
No, there was actually a reason for it, and it was fucking hilarious because I listened to everybody, especially Tony's friend that he brought with us. He brought one of his work colleagues, and this guy, he's older, like he's in his 50s. He's been listening to Megadeth and heavy metal since he was in high school back in the 80s. And so he was talking about how the sound quality was baffling to him because it seemed like each band got more crisp and sharp. And I was explaining to him, I said, it's not the sound quality so much of it is the efficiency of the equipment they have. Because I said, you got to keep in mind, Exodus isn't as big yet, so they don't have as much money for equipment. Exodus literally had 4 amps to a guitar, which in its own right is still a lot of amps and a lot of money. But they had 4 amps to a guitar. Sound quality was, it was okay for the venue that they were in, with a room full of like however many thousands of people fit in there, like 14 or something like that. And then Anthrax comes on, and they sound even better. And I was telling them, you have to understand that now instead of 4 amps to a guitar, Anthrax is a little bit bigger. So they have the money to afford, you count out the amps, they have 6 amps to a guitar now. Because like they had the amps on full display on either side of the drum set. So you could see how many amps there were per guitar. And I was like, so they have 6 amps per guitar now. They're going to sound better because that much, sound and tempo and, all that are going to be able to reach the furthest reaches of the crowd better before it starts, bouncing back on itself with the sound waves. Megadeth starts. They obviously sound the best. They sound the sharpest, the loudest, the most crisp. And I was like, okay, reason for that now, I actually counted it out. Megadeth had fucking 15 amps to a guitar, which was complete overkill, because at that point, none of the amps need to be on full volume for this shit. And, like, there was quite a few times where, when a solo was happening, the other guitarists would step back and go stand right in front of the amps, while the soloist was at the front and center of the stage. Spotlights are still on these other guys playing while standing in front of the amps. Well, here's the guy playing in front of the amp. Here's the level of the amp, right? Like, he's like, even at 6 feet tall, he's only half the height of the amps because there's so many of them. 15 amps per guitar. That's a lot of fucking equipment. Like, Megadeth had so much equipment that it cost more dollar value for all that equipment than Tony's 2026 Dodge Durango did. And that's an $83,000 unit.
You got a 26?
He has
the upgrade?
He has a 25. Yeah, he has.
I was supposed to say, like, I'm pretty sure he.
Yeah, no, sorry.
A brand new one.
25. But that's still, because they haven't like changed the price of those things. That's still in last year that would have been an $83,000 unit.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
about as much as my truck without negative equity. Yeah,
that's a lot of musical equipment on one stage.
Yeah.
So that was fun trying to explain to him the whole theory of over oppressing sound waves with larger sound waves so that the music doesn't sound like shit. Not like what happened when me friend Tony went to Windrose 2 summers ago, and we were literally in the basement gym of Calgary University, and Windrose is playing at the same level, and literally the walls were shaking and the sound quality was ass because they were playing the level of what a venue like here would have been in a room that only held 200 people.
There is lots of musical acts that you need the right venue for.
Yeah.
Like I've had a few acts and concerts at this point where like you're in a different venue for the same show. I've had that happen now with the Lumineers, 21 Pilots, July Talk,
Mm-hmm.
Bad Sun, and Kaleo.
Right.
And Kaleo is the only one where like the show wasn't necessarily the same, and July Talk it wasn't necessarily either. The point stands that certain bands play better to certain sized settings. Like July Talk at a festival was good. July Talk in a basement bar was significantly better.
Right.
Partially due to the sound quality, absolutely, because the level of equipment that they're bringing is different. But I think also a smaller venue brings you intimacy with the performers.
It does, yeah.
Will add to certain acts. Like the Lumineers were really good at a festival. Terrible. The worst stadium performance I've ever seen was Sastel Center, the Lumineers. Awful.
Yeah.
It was like, and it wasn't that the venue was too small. I actually think it kind of worked in the same way that like July Talk did, whereas like the festival, they were good. The Lumineers make good music.
Right.
But the stadium, like the festival, I was really close because I was with a bunch of girls our age who wanted to be very close. And I was the designated don't let them get hurt person. So I was behind them and we were as close as you would be in a small bar. And so it was good. And then put that into like an arena perspective.
Yeah.
It suddenly sucks because it's too big for them. While Kaleo, I've seen twice in different sized arenas. The Rogers Center in Edmonton is smaller than Sastel Center. I would say they were better in a bigger venue. 21 Pilots are better in a smaller venue.
Right.
It's like certain artists, I think, they need the room to be like to hit the limit. Like Windrose would have been really good in a big venue.
It would have, yeah.
They were terrible in a small one.
They had their system cranked.
They've gone past that point.
Yeah. They had their system cranked and tuned to an event meant for thousands of people in the scaling room of a few hundred people.
Yeah. Certain artists, I think, also have a reckless abandon about the size of the room. It doesn't matter how small the room, like it's the wizard trope. I don't care how small the room is.
I cast fireball.
Windrose would have been one of those where like their music is meant to be loud. It's meant to amp you up. It's meant to get you moving. It doesn't matter how small the room is. It's got to be loud. Yeah. That's the shtick, right? They're going to sing to you about digging a hole, and it's going to be loud as shit.
Which sucked because we couldn't even hear him fucking singing because they had all of the equipment tuned towards the instruments.
Yeah. It's always the downside with that. Like, I've seen One Bad Sun in Sastel Center and Coors Event Center.
Uh-huh.
I preferred it at Sastel Center. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the experience at Coors Event, like the One Bad Santa show, I think was better, but the music plays better in a big studio, like a big arena.
Okay.
Where you have, because you also have the dispersion of sound where as it travels to the speakers, it mixes together. Like there is a sweet spot about halfway back from the stage in about the center where it doesn't have to be dead center, but like the center swath where the stage is, because the stage is always narrower than the floor usually. If you're in that swath about halfway back, whatever the venue size is, you will get the best sound. It will sound the best in any given venue.
Right.
Because of the way sound bounces off of surfaces and mixes together as it travels.
Yeah, something Fred actually found when we went to Windrose, because we were halfway back. What they did in that small gymnasium was anybody who wanted to drink stayed in the back half of the room where the bar was. Anybody who wasn't drinking could go in the front half of the room. They had barricades, like just those like braided black barricades, in place to cut the room off. So me, Tony, and Fred stayed there at the halfway point. We leaned against the barricade the whole time. And Fred actually realized halfway through he had his headphones in his pocket, like his AirPods. And so he had the idea, why don't I dampen the sound to my eardrums with my AirPods, and I will see if that helps. He actually heard the music better than me and Tony did, because me and Tony came out of the concert and we hadn't heard anything but static at that point because of how loud the equipment was, and we couldn't hear anything, whereas Fred's eardrums were completely fine.
Yeah, that's has a lot to do with the kinetic dispersion of sound waves.
Yeah,
distance.
so
There's
lucky bastard.
Enough room there for the voice. There isn't enough physical space required for the sound level output by the speakers to disperse and mingle correctly. Yeah. So the the harmonics of the room don't work given the level with which they have it cranked to.
Yeah. They don't.
Artists that play like slower, deeper songs are better in small rooms because the harmonics of the room help. Yeah. Because it keeps the levels are artificially higher. It's the same as like a loud artist in a small room. It's like it's the adage of like you crank the dial to 11. It's only at 9, but you don't know that it's at 9 because it sounds like they've got it on fucking 18. Yeah. It's artificially increasing the sound because it can disperse, and there's nothing there to there's nothing there to mitigate the acoustics that the room is creating. Yeah. That's like subwoofer boxes. You can get vented or like ported or sealed boxes. A sealed box, the subwoofer responds faster, but you have less physical volume. Mm-hmm. A ported box is louder, but the subwoofer responds slower. Subwoofers use the actual pressure of the box to mitigate head travel. So when a subwoofer kicks, it kicks out and then back. Yep. So when it kicks out, the pressure, you create vacuum, and it wants to pull the head back in, and the head comes back and it pressurizes, so it stabilizes the woofer head. Mm-hmm. Right? You know speakers. Yeah. You are a musician. Music man. You know words I speak. I've spoken Pig Latin for the people in the chat, but it is okay. I do not expect you do not. There is no test. There's no reason for fear, comrade.
Don't worry. We will not quiz you after.
I learned that from my grade 9 band teacher. She made a point. She was like, because we had to, and then maybe you did these like concert reviews. You had to go see a concert every semester.
Oh, no. At mine, I had to perform a concert every semester.
Well, we did that too. But like,
but as a band, my teacher, because I was in a band outside of school, like in a third-party program where I actually learned how to play music, he had me perform a solo concert in front of my school once a semester to show everybody what I had learned and what they could be learning too. And I was like, listen, I'm glad you're having fun with this, but I joined band to play in a band, not to be your fucking guinea pig.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be terrifying. No, in grade 9, for whatever reason, our school, this band program decided that every student had to submit one. For grade 9, it was 2 concert reviews. For 10, 11, 12, it was one. The idea being that grade 9 is the easiest year, and 10, 11, 12, you have more time to yourself because you don't have to fill your workload unless you're a student that did that, which is totally valid and fair. I did not. I had lots of time. So you had to go to a concert, and I remember talking to my grade 9 band teacher, and I had just gone to see my first concert, which was Pink. Mm-hmm. We were talking about it, and I was asking her questions about why the sound didn't travel, like why it sounded off. It didn't, like, something wasn't right. That's because of the acoustics of SaskTel Center. She was like, I was also at that concert, and I was on the floor. And I went, oh. And she went, and from where I was standing with my husband, it was very good. it sounded just like she's recorded. From where you were sitting, up the upper bowl, wrapped around kind of behind the stage, you had speakers right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only getting, and she explained, like the way sound travels through an auditorium or an arena, the speakers are always canted out.
Yeah.
So it travels out to the walls and then it bounces back off of the walls and diffuses. And then by the time it hits the center of the room, about halfway back, that is where you will get the best auditory experience from live music, just due to acoustics and harmonic principles.
Yeah.
Went, oh, cool. And she went, so when you do your concert review, because she gave us tickets, the whole class got tickets to go see the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra. She played trombone in it.
Right.
As our first concert review, she was like, when you go see that, you can pick your seat, ask them to seat you in the center, closer to the back. And so that's what I did. And it was great. Never gone to see a classical, never seen an orchestra perform before. It was very good. I've done it a few times since.
Orchestras are really nice, honestly. When it comes to live music, they are really nice.
This is going to be a weird take. Maybe you see it coming, maybe you don't. I'm a sucker for big band music.
Yeah.
Big band music?
Dude,
like Frank Sinatra? You've got the band wraparounds and then the singer. That shit my jam. The Stone Frigate Big Band is like the one show I make sure I go see every year.
You're talking to the guy who has been waiting for Phantom of the Opera to return for 15 years now.
You're waiting a little longer.
Actually, no, shit. It's been longer than that. It's been almost 20 years. Yeah, because I was like 6 when I saw it. When they
come back, I'd go see that.
It is an amazing show. Yeah.
That would be, nudge, nudge, wink. That would be a good date night.
Yeah. I've been waiting for years, and they haven't come back. They barely ever even come to Canada or the States, because I'm pretty sure the Broadway show for that actually originates out of Britain.
That was another one that I looked at for concerts, because like that list, you want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find live music, trying to find classical music, because like every Ticketmaster advertises they show you theater shows.
Right.
They will not. It's not theater. It's music being performed in a theater. So like that works great for the Grand Ole Opry, which is a theater. And I could find all of the shows in the Opry music house, like in the Ole Opry. But like beyond that, there is no like, this is a big band musical.
Yeah.
Or like a big band performer playing in a theater, which is the venue that big bands are meant to perform in, which is why I was so dead set. I was like, fuck, it's something. Nothing. It's just one, I don't know. It's just one of those things where like that style of music has always been my favorite. One of the first CDs I ever bought for my Buick, which had a CD player, was like the most new fandango technology I'd had at that point.
Right,
was a CD player in my car. The first CD I ever bought for that car was the Ultimate Sinatra CD from Walmart for $5. I still have it. It's still one of my favorite CDs.
Mine was actually the you remember when those I think they, well, I don't know if they still do them or not, but the CD label that used to do like 25th edition master album of like a bunch of different songs from a band that had been remastered, and they put that into an album. It was always a gray and black CD case.
Yep. I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
I bought that one of the Beatles when I got my Crown Vic.
Yep.
And that's what I used to roll around listening to. I remember this one time I had just got the exhaust and everything done and the new engine put in. And, I'm sitting there in front of Giant Tiger, like one of the most ratted out places at 22nd Street, at the red light. All 4 windows are down. I'm just sitting there rumbling, bump, 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 at the light. And these two older ladies pull up, and I'm talking like older, like when this happened, they were like mid 40s. But I was,
Mhm.
I was 17, and I had the Beach Boys, sorry, not Beatles, the Beach Boys, blasting, and it was Surfin' USA.
Hell yeah, it was.
And they listen for a second, then I see their windows roll down. I'm like, oh great, I'm about to get yelled at by two people who are old enough to be my mother. And all of a sudden, I see their hands start flying. And they start fucking rocking out, and they start screaming to, jump in and enjoy the music. And I was like, no, 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 I'm underage. Thank you, no. I was scared for my life in that moment. Women bad.
The best instance like that I've ever had was when I was in the cadet program and going off to summer training camp. There was like a very limited window of time in high school where I appeared physically fit. And in the sailing program,
Fucking shut up.
I'm being dead serious, because like if you look back at my school photos, I was not always lanky, okay? There was windows of like, oh, Chris is a big boy, and then oh, he stretched back out again. I had to work to have body fat percentage, and by God did I. But one of the nicknames when I came back from basic sail, which was the year before I got my license, was
Right.
Rock Lobster.
Of course it was.
Because I sunburned. I always sunburn really easy.
Yeah, you do.
My nose is perpetually red. It just never goes away. It's probably skin cancer, if I'm being honest. It's
going down the same path as John Cena.
We're hoping it's not. And by we I mean the doctor.
Or are we?
Or are we? God, it would be so much easier if it was. Anyways, my nickname all summer after like the third day, because I sunburned day 2, like first day on the water, immediately pure red and shiny. And in the sail program, you're allowed to, as long as you're wearing your PFD, you're allowed to just wear swim trunks and your sailing shoes, as well as your helmet, until you're allowed to take your helmet off, which I did on day 4. And so all summer I'm being called Rock Lobster. It's 3.5 weeks of, hey, there's Lobster. And I've like forgot my last name for a while. That's just Rock Lobster. I get home and I tell my grandparents about this. My grandmother's like, oh, that's a reference to a B-52s song. I went, who are the B-52s?
Oh my God.
I'll lend you the CD. And so,
okay, I'll lend you the CD. Your mic cut out for a hard second on my end, and all I heard was, I'll end you.
That is something my grandmother would say. So her and my grandpa drive me back to their house. She runs into the house really quick. She grabs my grandpa a pack of Clorets gum and the B-52 CD with Rock Lobster on it. She comes back out. She hands me the CD. She goes, you listen to this as many times as you want. Bring it back when you're done. I think I still have it, or I lost it. I don't know. She never asked me for it again.
And you just are too scared to tell her.
It's been years. I can't bring it up. I would die. It is, and I listened to that song thousands of times. Like, I understood the reference. I was like, okay, I get it now. And then the next summer I went back and I had my driver's license. They were like, and one of the guys I had done sail with recognized me. We were on the same course. He goes, it's Rock Lobster. I was like, you have no idea how much I blasted that song in my car in like the last week of school, because I was just excited to go back to camp and get out of here and go do like actual learning and training. And
stuff. Yeah.
And he was like, dude, you have a car? And so we wound up on this conversation about how I had my driver's license. But anyways, old music has always been fun. CDs are great.
Mm-hmm.
Some cars don't come standard with CD players.
No.
This might be a surprise to the people. Some cars don't come factory with
makes me feel old.
Apple CarPlay. Touch screens in the dash. My truck wigs me out so much sometimes. Like, I get into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
Did-
your phone's connected. Like, my phone's still in my pocket, dude. And they're like, yeah, we know.
We did it for
should
you.
pull it out. We did it through the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I
Don't
know.
even sweat it.
I can't wait for the time when, if I'm ever lucky enough to get grandkids, God help me if my hellspawn ever decides to reproduce. I am so excited for the fact I'm going to look at them and say, listen, you guys have vehicles that fucking talk to you like Knight Rider from the 80s. It'll be really cool to let you kids know I have a car that the only thing it says to me is you have no minutes on OnStar. Would you like me to dial 911? So
I
that'll
love the default you're dead sound.
Have you ever seen the OnStar commercial for that shit? It's like one of the last ones they put out. It's the guy who's upside down in his car, presses the button on his rearview mirror. Thank you for calling OnStar. You have no minutes. As it cuts out, all you hear is "fuck"
from outside the car.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember those. My dad made that joke to me when he got his first new vehicle when I was
Yep.
15.
Exactly, Billy.
And
Exactly.
It was a 2015 Sierra Kodiak package, and he paid extra for the Kodiak package. Hilariously, he had to put the badges on it himself because they didn't PDI the truck. So that whole day. But we were driving somewhere probably a year after he owned it, after he bought it. And he was like, "You want to hear something funny?" I was like, "Sure." He goes, "This is the last thing you'll ever hear before you die." And he hits the OnStar button, and it's, "You have no minutes. Would you like OnStar minutes? Would you like to dial 911?" I was like, "What's so funny about that, Dad?" He goes, "If you don't have OnStar minutes, it can't dial 911." What? The early OnStar systems were the cell receiver. If you don't have OnStar minutes, it cannot dial 911.
Yep.
It just physically cannot complete the call.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." And he goes, "Yeah, you just die to the ringtone."
Fuck.
I'm like, dear sweet Mary Joseph. Jesus.
That would be a shitty way to go out.
What a terrible way to die. Like, golly.
Oh man.
That's a real fact about that thing. And he had Googled it because it ran out, and he talked to the dealer, and the dealer was like, "Oh, we don't know. People just either buy OnStar again or they don't. As far as we're aware, it does call 911. So he did a little research on it. Turns out it cannot.
Nope.
Once you run out of minutes, after a set point, OnStar physically deactivates the module as well.
Yeah.
If you do decide to buy more time, you have to call OnStar with your VIN and your account number. Good luck finding that. And you have to go, "Yeah, I have this vehicle. I've owned it the whole time. I know I didn't buy OnStar before the trial period ended. Listen, it's expensive. What do you want from me? Listen, it's this VIN. No, I don't know my account number. Can't you look it up off the VIN?" And then you finally get the thing, and they have to go through. They have to physically have you walk out, start. It's like Sirius. Sirius XM does the same thing. They'll shut the module off if you don't pay for it after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And the only time that gets flipped is when you sell the vehicle to a dealership. When the dealership takes possession of it, they can have it put back under a demo account, and then when it gets sold again, Sirius will reactivate the trial period for that specific VIN.
Right.
I learned that one because my blue truck is still under my Sirius XM account, and I can't remove it without calling them. And the dealership has sold my truck, my 24. So some poor dude out there probably really wants satellite radio, and he cannot have it. He can't use the app for the Ram trucks either. Year-old truck, can't use it because the app is tied into your Sirius account, which is tied to me. And I sent I sent a contact us thing. I was like, "Hey, listen, I sold the 2024 Ram 1500. I got the 1500, the 2025. Can you remove it from my account? Because there's no option to do that." They were like, "No, you have to call our helpline with the VIN." I don't own the truck anymore. They were like, then the new owner is going to have to call the helpline, and he's going to have to provide proof of purchase, the VIN. He's going to have to probably pull the head unit and get the actual module serial number off of it. And I was like,
what
shit, you guys suck, huh?
Yeah, what a fucking joke.
You're the worst. And she was like, well, the dealership should have done that. And I was like, hey, I'm here to tell you they didn't.
Yeah, they never do.
The truck is still in my garage. I think they tried, but it apparently takes like months is the turnaround on that, because Brad, his fiance, when they bought their truck, they don't have access to the app. And they did get the trial through SiriusXM, because if you aren't paying for it, once you trade it in, the dealership, the radio portion is very easy, but the Guardian app is very difficult. And I was like, that sucks for the guy that bought my truck, because I'm still getting the vehicle health reports.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know he's not driving a lot. I imagine an old man bought that truck, because it had 18,000 kilometers when I traded it in. And after, it was 3 months ago, I noticed that the odometer reading started going up. It is only at 19.9 now. So he's keeping it pristine for this guy.
He's so fucking mad he doesn't have a Sirius and he just hasn't been driving it.
Yeah. And you know what? With that truck, you connect 3, you want Sirius.
Yeah. I
paid for it while I owned that truck because honestly, it was easier than trying to connect your phone. Some vehicles don't come with that stuff. My first vehicle had AM radio. Some vehicles don't even come with AM radio. And it turns out, even with the new regulation changes, Formula One cars still don't have radio beyond to the pit wall. And with testing done, I have some thoughts. Welcome to the Formula One corner, where everything is fast, but not that fast. But still pretty fast.
The cars are fast. Our brains are not.
Our brains are not. The 2026 engineering contest that is the absolute height of global entertainment, Formula One, is back. They have finished 3 rounds of testing now, right. And the first race weekend will be March 8th in Australia.
Okay.
I have not looked at the times for that, but I will message you the times for that.
Okay.
And we can go through the same thing we did last year. We were like, yeah, I'll definitely get up to watch that. And then you go to bed at 1 and the race starts at 6. It's like, yeah, he did.
I was not getting up for that.
Coming back. Every race we tried to watch last year, it was like the same thing. I ended up just not watching them.
Well, no, I actually did make it for one of them.
That's true. You did make it, I think, for more than one, because some of them were in the afternoon, which is always the best.
Yeah.
Like the Canadian Grand Prix was afternoon. I know we watched that one together. I think we watched Singapore because we talked about it.
I think that was the other one.
First time I talked about Formula One on the podcast. So the Global Engineering Contest is back for 2026. So new regulations for this year: the cars are 50% electric, 50% gas powered. The batteries are, some teams are finding out, too small. There's a large learning curve in energy deployment this year. And the current top of the paddock is, amongst the drivers, all 22 of them, is that you basically need a degree in electrical engineering to understand how to drive these cars, because they are apparently that difficult with the way the new energy system deploys.
That's ridiculous.
And I have some thoughts about that, but let's talk about just the testing in general. So the first round was a private test that was run in Barcelona. It was an opt-in thing for the teams.
Yep.
10 teams ran in Barcelona. You had 5 days, and the way testing worked was you got 2 sessions a day. If you were only allowed to run for 3 days total across those 5 days. If your car rolled out of the garage under its own power, you had declared your entry for the day. Right. And if you turned 1,000 laps or 2, did not matter.
Yeah.
That was your day done. So first test was in Barcelona, which was kind of surprising because I'll just give kind of the timings of the lap reads. I thought the results were surprising given how last year ended. Hamilton in a Ferrari went fastest overall in Barcelona. He clocked 209 laps total.
Okay.
George Russell in a Mercedes was second fastest at 265 laps total. Lando Norris in his McLaren, the current reigning world champion, was third fastest with 163 laps. And then just kind of rapid fire the rest of the list here. It's Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, Alpine, Red Bull, Haas, Racing Bulls, Alpine, Audi, Aston, Cadillac, Aston. Aston had a bad time. They the only team on the grid this year with the Honda powertrains, and it's not looking good for Honda. Is kind of what I'll say on that one. Cadillac looks pretty promising, all things considered. Okay, you guys just picking up my food. I gotta keep an eye on it. I ordered more food because the edibles are kicking in.
I know. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna go get another of those homemade burgers.
Yeah, I also ordered burgers.
I also got donuts and pumpkin pie.
I didn't. It's important to note here. So, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Audi, and Aston are the 5 unique powertrains. I mean, technically it's Honda.
Right.
But it's Aston Martin because their name is on
right,
the list and I'll
right.
remember
That's where it is.
Mercedes powers McLaren, Alpine, Haas, and Cadillac, and Mercedes. So they have 5 teams that run their engines. Red Bull is obviously Red Bull and Racing Bulls, their subsidiary team. And then Audi is Audi, and Aston Martin is Honda. The breakdown on laps run is very interesting because, so Max was 7th fastest in Barcelona. He ran 145 laps. Isaac Hadjar's new teammate for this year ran 158 laps, and he was less than half a tenth off. And then we go to Bahrain, and Mercedes is fastest, 1 and 2 for the first test, and then both Ferraris, both McLarens, a Red Bull, a Haas, Alpine, Audi, Alpine. Williams is not as slow as everybody thought they would be, considering they missed Barcelona completely. Cadillac is not that slow, which is also wild. And both Aston Martin, again, 21st, 22nd, pretty much dead last. Mercedes being the fastest in the first Bahrain test is interesting, followed very closely by Ferrari. The second test, Ferrari is the fastest again. Now, Ferrari has this really fun curse where they always look really good in testing. And then what happens is they get to the first race and the car explodes. It's looking like Lewis might have a shot at a world championship this year, if the hype is to be believed. Ferrari also came out with the funniest rear wing. So every other team this year, active aero is a big thing. The drivers can toggle at any point in time between a high downforce and a low downforce setup. Every team has pretty much taken the DRS style approach to that, which is the wing moves. It pivots on one point. The wing comes up, wing comes down, or the wing comes up and then down.
Right.
Ferrari has taken this interesting approach. So this is the wing at best. And we need low downforce. What's the wing do? Flips.
What?
Yeah. And then, oh shit, we're about to corner again. We need high downforce. And it spins. It spins on a center axis. And what they're doing, you might be thinking, what's an air wing? Like a wing is an airfoil. But we use it to generate negative lift or downforce.
Right.
If you invert that wing, it creates lift. Less effectively than it created downforce, because it's still going to create downforce. The shape of the wing, even upside down, the bottom, generally speaking, the bottom of a regular wing will create lift, and it'll lift air through an air channel up. at the same speed that air on top of the wing is pushing the wing down. Like the wing exists in a neutral plane that's being pushed and pulled. So when you invert that, you decrease the downforce load, but you also increase the the actual lift the wing's generating. So it pulls weight off the back of the car. So it can go faster. Which is crazy cool. And I don't know if it's something that's going to stick around, because the first testing weekend they ran a conventional style wing.
Right.
From everything everybody could see. Second test, they brought out this new wing and very clearly improved on it. And like, it's a metric because it's the same track. It's just a week later, so it's still summer in Bahrain.
Right.
And like, there was no rain in either test. Very interesting to see. I like the way that the teams have taken, like, all of the cars look different this year to compensate for the new aerodynamic regs.
Right.
But there is a significant gripe that I have. And Max has been pretty vocal about it. And lots of drivers anonymously have stated to the media that they're with Max and they appreciate that Max is saying it. Oh, my guy's like almost here. The cars can't run flat out. The battery drains too fast. The battery drains too fast because of the way the energy system is designed to deploy.
Right.
And I might have to run and grab my food because I want to eat cold food.
Unless you want to end it right here.
I think he's still figuring it out. I'll finish the deployment thing and then I'll grab my food and I'll just suffer through it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's Wendy's. It'll be good.
Fair.
So the current way that Formula One cars deploy their electrical energy is that the deployment is active from any speed above 50 kilometers an hour.
Right.
In acceleration, it must deploy. In deceleration, it has to harvest. It is doing its harvesting based on engine speed because it's the turbo that does it.
Right.
In the previous regulations, they were V6 hybrids because part of the hybrid system was tied to the turbo. It worked as like a centrifugal, like an AC condenser. It had a clutch. So when the engine was below the boost curve, an electric motor would spin the turbo, keeping the boost levels high, guaranteeing maximum power output at all times. And then once the engine started to take over, the clutch on the electric engine would release, the electric motor would release, and the turbo would be freewheeling with the engine, exactly like it's supposed to, kind of like a centrifugal supercharger. It was like a centrifugal supercharger. It was tied to the engine. The new style it's completely based on the inertia and kinetics of the turbo. So now they have turbo lag again because the turbo is being lagged, it's being bogged, like a energy recovery system.
Right.
It's also tied to the braking system like it was before.
Is it also tied to the drinking bone?
Probably.
At this point?
It deploys faster than it can harvest. So coming down the main straight, if you don't set it up right, you run out of electrical energy about 300 feet before the end of the straight into the braking zone.
That's not great.
So, and you can see it in videos. In testing, they did some a bunch of teams were doing mock passing with other teams on the straight, and you can see it a car comes out, it starts to catch the car in front, and you can see the car in front runs out of electrical energy. So the car behind comes out to pass, and just as he's about to pass, he runs out of electrical energy and he drops back because the engines aren't putting out enough of the power system. And it reminds me a lot of the World Endurance Championship.
Yeah.
LMP1 cars are very similar, but the way they do is different. LMP1 cars are, I think it's 70-30 gas to electric. But the way LMP1 cars are done is that below 50 kilometers an hour, the engine doesn't turn on.
Right.
That's why when you listen to an endurance car leave the pits, is a perfect example. You can Google videos of this all night long. It'll be the funniest soundbite you'll ever listen to because it's kind of jarring the first time and makes you giggle every time after that.
Right.
You'll hear the car peel out of the pits. It's like the one electric car.
Right.
And then it hits 50 kilometers an hour and it stabilizes out at the pit emitter. And then you hear blah, like the seismic charge from stores as the engine blasts.
I have listened to the Cadillac that did that.
Yeah, Cadillac is the exact. Aston Martin also had a really good one. The Valkyries were V12s.
Oh,
they were naturally aspirated 6-liter V12s that were tuned right to the nuts.
Such a beautiful engine.
And you can hear the me as the electrical motors split up to speed, and then as the V12 like hums. It's so good. I think the problem that Formula 1 is going to have is they put too much precedence on the electrical power system, which makes them like a Formula E car on steroids, is the analogy that Max Verstappen made.
Yeah.
Now, the man knows, because he's a sim racer at heart.
Right.
And he's been invited, actually, by the CEO of Formula E to go and test Formula E's Gen 4 cars. And lots of F1 drivers are doing that because the skill set's the same for the deployment. I think that probably before this regulation set is up, that is going to change. It will go back to a endurance championship style of output layout so that they can ensure that the cars can accelerate down the straights all the way to the end instead of what they've got right now. Because as it stands right now, my prediction for this season is it's not going to be very good to watch.
I can understand that. I actually I like, it's funny that you mentioned like the new regulations with the half electric, half gas, because my last little tidbit for the stream is I found some news out yesterday about the new electric cars that are coming into Canada. So Elon Musk, we know, tried to corner the market in North America for electric cars.
I get my food really quick.
Yeah. I know you got wireless headphones, so I'm going to keep talking. He tried to corner the market in North American cars for electric vehicles and didn't want anybody else bringing electric vehicles in. For years, he barred them, which was completely insane that one man was allowed to do that. But nonetheless, here we are. Canada, when they struck that deal up, that business situation with China, they just recently signed the contracts, and we are going to...
Limited trade partnership is what it's called.
Thank you. And we are going to be getting the Chinese BYD electric vehicles, which have the same suspension system as Rolls-Royces, same interior design and luxury fit as Bentleys, and they are fully electric with a battery. Some of them are even coming out with sodium batteries because they're less volatile, and they are longer lasting, and they require less maintenance. So these BYDs are going to go for about 450 miles before they need to recharge, which is amazing. And they're going to cost, depending on which model you get, anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. That's fucking cheap.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I was telling you about this. I will be in line to buy a Chinese EV.
I still don't think I will own one, but I like the fact that they are taking the steps to try and correct our issues with, like, economy. So,
okay,
that was
that
was my last little tidbit.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thanks for coming. I've been Chris. He's Will for sure. Stay tuned on the Twitch streams. Look out for the notification bell somewhere. You don't want to miss live action on this one, folks. Will, what's coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Thursday, so that will be the ending of my first run of Armored Core 6.
Hell yeah. Great game. Friday, we got more Half-Life. You're still playing Alice, I think. Nope,
Half-Life is
Half-Life?
done. So now Fridays are going to be allotted to
Ooh.
the Saturday streams. So we're going to be doing back-to-back series streams Fridays and Saturdays. Friday, we are going to finish the Bioshock series because I am almost done Infinite. And then Saturday, we're going to be starting up Batman Arkham.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, great
Sunday,
time.
as always, we sleep.
Sleep.
God bless. No works the Sabbath. Jewish till I die. Then Monday, we're back with more Neo. Tuesday, more Warframe. Hell yeah.
And we'll see you back on Wednesday for episode 24.
Yeah. You know what? I might even be here on Tuesday. Who knows?
Who knows?
It'll work out one day.
Exactly.
I was ready to play last night, and then I saw your message. I'm going to a concert. Stream will be late tonight, and I was like, "The fuck is going to a concert with what friends? I'm right here."
Wow. Yep.
And then I'm sitting there at my desk, kind of sad. I'm like, I was watching Ted Lasso because I got to finish that before my Apple TV free trial runs out on Prime.
Yep.
And I'm like, what concert is there tonight? And I was like, oh, son of a bitch, it's Megadeth tonight.
Yep.
It's a good show. Anyways, we'll talk about Ted Lasso next week, maybe.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a phenomenal series.
It is funny.
You should watch it. It's so good.
I have seen a lot of it, just not all of it.
Yeah, I had the same problem. But that's all we got for this week. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you coming in, spending some time with us while we ramble about whatever the fuck we rambled about. I can't remember anymore.
Absolutely nothing.
We'll catch you guys here tomorrow. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.